This isn't as bad as I thought it would be. I mean, seeing zombies is always horrifying. I had to check them. I had to make sure that they weren't his. They don't seem to be. Which is comforting in a way, but also horrifying. It means he's not the only one. In the cart we found some books, which is nice. Something to read, something to distract ourselves from wherever we're going. There was one that Amrita really wanted. I hope she can make use of it. She told us more about Ghost. It's destroyed, and when we got there, I realized the extent of it. But it's strange, I feel almost at home here. Maybe it's just because this is where people have been that I cared about before.
Well, never expected to see the old man again. Still strange that he prefers to stay in a well, but at the same time, probably safer that way. Anything that has a rock or cave structure of some sort.
Definitely wasn't expecting to go into a well, though. That was a surprise. But now we're sleeping in a well, I guess. There are some bones there. It's very natural, though. It reminds me of the forest. I took a twig, and I'm going to press it into my journal. I hope I can always remember what this place was like.
When I thought of traveling back by myself, that was my plan to begin with, I almost thought what it would be like to pass through this area again. Maybe go by the... I guess it doesn't matter what I was going to go by at all. I don't know anymore. Frankly, I'm tired. Something's itching at the back of my mind between... well, the spirit and the eye. I don't know what's going on anymore. But at least now they understand the dangers of this place. I hate it here. But then again, I'd rather be out here than back in Corsiva. That was a lot more hell compared to now.
It's good to be back on the road. I'm not supposed to be in cities. Definitely not ones like Corsiva where everyone feels so fucking close all the time on your shit. It's good to be out in nature as much as you can call this nature.
And I really don't want to go searching for a witch, but it's not right to let innocent children die. Not when they were stolen from their beds and from their home. I'm still haunted by that very sight in the night, and the fire, when I just remember I had to shoot so many damn arrows, and in the end didn't do anything. Now I can only hope that the rest of this group entering this area, and where me and my old companions had failed, nothing bad will come of it, but I'm not really convinced.
Something clicked recently, I guess. A bit of a mindset change, sort of. I was doing the work because it was fun, right? It was immediate, it was dangerous, it was impulses all the time. And I think I sort of needed that to keep my mind off of other shit. And now, these are some interesting fucking people. And they're replacing whatever needs that work met. And I like being on the road with them. It's fun. It's like my world. Although being so close to Gauls is probably very uncomfortable for him. I would presume.
Right now he's in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he probably
Cillian,
seems kind of out of it.
Yeah, for Cillian entering a Geist town, there's definitely a bombardment. I would suspect he rolls a natural 1 every 5 minutes just because of how much inundation there is. But at the same time, they feel strangely distant. And it's a very weird experience.
So they're not interacting with them, they're just there
Not
all
really.
the time.
There's a little bit of a poltergeist situation going on where they don't manifest even to you visibly, but there's a lot of like chaotic noises, things being shoved and bumped in the night, which you can hear even down in this well over the sound of that trickling water that streams through the rocks in one side and out the other. During the evening, Asuriel, you find yourself in the most familiar, unfamiliar place. This forest of what feels like should be trees, but they are barkless beams, and the foliage is these strange metal strips of wire, this humming and popping electricity that runs between them. The sky above is this reddish hue. And you just find yourself working your way through, unsure where to go.
Call out. Anyone there? Where am I?
Roll a percentile, please. You don't hear any reply, but as you do stumble through these forest of beams, suddenly you see a structure kind of out of nowhere in that dream logic where it's like you're right there even though you hadn't seen it before. This alabaster white, clearly a mausoleum.
Just gonna slowly approach it. Like if there's a door, she's gonna try and open it.
There is. And it swings open very easily to your push. There are these old, weathered stone statues, which is odd because they're indoors, but there's like rain damage and moss growing on them. Statues of angels, and they all have hands over their eyes as you enter. You can't see their faces. But in the center of this mausoleum, you see this figure, thin, hunched on the ground, almost in the fetal position. Flowing out from this figure is a dark blue hooded cloak that covers her. And as you're watching, you see she seems to be weeping in front of this mausoleum, this placards on all of the wall where the bodies would be interned. You see names written on each of them. They're carved, but not pristinely like you would see somebody who had done precisely. It's like someone cut into the stone, you know, mostly in capital letters, as if it done with a knife. And you see Lorelei get up and approach one of these plaques on the wall. And Lorelei, you see the name Lars Gray written in exactly the form into the stone. And the cuts in the stone suddenly begin to bleed down the alabaster stone. And as you're reaching out for it, from the other side, you hear a scratch. And that's when Lorelei wakes up. As does Asuriel, both in a start.
Astra's immediately gonna look around for Lorelei.
You find her quickly. You're both laying in these pallets of pelts and furs that have been arrayed in the Elder Want's kind of living quarters that he has under the city of the ruins of Gulst.
Immediately gets up to go hug her.
Whoa, hey. Are you okay? Did I wake you up? I'm so sorry.
No. I saw you in a dream. You looked really sad.
It was just a dream, Asuriel. I'm fine. Really.
Just gonna keep hugging anyway.
Just pat her on the head. What else did you see?
I was in a place, metal beams reaching out into a red sky, electricity crackling around, like there was maybe a storm, but it didn't really feel like it either. That I saw a mausoleum. It's entirely white. I went inside and you were in the center there, and there were these statues of angels covering their faces. And there were names carved at their feet, and I don't know, you went up and started bleeding.
That's really weird, Asuriel. I had pretty much the same dream.
Oh. Yeah, that's weird. Oh. I think I was in your dream.
That's unfortunate. My dreams are rarely friendly, even to me.
I hugged Lorelei a little tighter. It feel nice, but I don't think my own dream was going really well either, so it's fine. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Amrita, you've gotten up before everyone else. You kind of hear this conversation as you are pulling the rope to get yourself up out of this well. Apparently Lorelei and Asuriel have woken. You can't really understand what they're saying. Your hearing's fairly acute, but that's not really what you're focused on. As the pulleys kind of squeal and the wood creaks on this little platform. As you pull yourself up and peeking out of the stone well, surrounded by this kind of rock, not platform exactly, but area around the well to check, just to be sure none of the animals have been devoured in the night. You immediately see the cart, well, the pair of them now, as well as the pair of mules and Petunia nearby. It seems that they are very close up on that stone platform. They seem on edge. Instinctually, you know that they know there's something wrong here. And you start to see these ash-like bodies, very similar to what you encountered in Korsava. But there's only pieces of them. It'll be like a torso and a leg, and it's walking as if it had two, but there's no evidence that you can see visually of this other, and it kind of like stalks from one building to the next, observing kind of this sacred space in the center of town that it can't enter. There are several of these that you can spy, as well as this kind of echo, distant, but close enough and too close for comfort, of this shrill maniacal laughter. Just sporadic giggles.
And how exactly why does it seem the protection looks like it might be where we're at right now? Like, how big is that?
It's difficult to know for sure because there's no visible sign of it. The little rock circular area surrounding this well, moss covered, is about 20-foot radius out from the well, and that's where the mules and Petunia are kind of huddled in, very close to the well itself. How far out from that these undead things can reach, or whatever else is in this dead town, you're not sure, but certainly not in that space.
Does it look like there's any old piece of wood she could shoot off to in the distance to see if there's someone that reacts, maybe? Or
I mean, there's wreckage of the town. Most of it is ash and burned out, but there's pieces of buildings still standing.
Okay. She'll probably just shoot an arrow out just to gauge and see what happens when she does that.
In the early morning, just as the sun is coming up over the Somberwald and the Gyre reach past that, there's a stillness engulfed. The town feels dead, and the arrow hits the wood with a louder than expected clunk. You see ash and dust kind of fall off of it, and everything goes quiet. There, like, weird laughter that came, like, ceases for some time, but eventually it begins again. And again, it's not persistent, it's very random, but best way I can describe it is if you were, like, walking near children playing without knowing that's what you were coming upon, and they didn't know you were there. It's just kind of random, things happen, but it's unrelated to you at all. But it's certainly more maniacal than children typically are.
Yeah, all right. She will go over to Petunia and the mules, but just give some of her rations of what she has, maybe bread or something, to Petunia, and then just be like, if anyone pets you again without consent, just bite them. Okay?
It's like, you probably have some carrots or something, or a bag of oats. So yeah, she'll eat those up, seemingly not understanding that directive, but appreciative of breakfast.
Yeah, I think she'll just kind of continue to wait up at the top of the well for now, since she's sort of leery, and just keep an eye out for any other of those weird ash things. Which
you do spot eventually. Again, they never really stay out in the open, but you can catch the movement. Your senses are quick enough. They can catch them before they disappear again.
Is there a way to, well, I guess there's not really a way to memorize what sort of pattern they have if it's sporadic to begin with?
Yeah, there doesn't appear to be any pattern at all.
Okay.
Eventually, your morning is interrupted by a hoarse shout. Not like a horse shouting, but a hoarse voice that shouts back down in the well. And I don't know if Asuriel and Lorelei had gone back to sleep or not, but everyone would be stirred and awoken by Want as he, like, you hear him, like, knock something over as he, like, shouts, doesn't seem in pain, and quickly looking, you see it appears that he's asleep, but he's, like, thrashed and shouted.
Daryl's gonna go over to
yeah, we're gonna go over to him.
Yeah. That does not seem right.
You find him not exactly asleep, but his one eye is, like, rolled back in his head as he's almost, like, convulsing on the ground.
That's not good.
It's really not good.
I have no idea what to do. Is he having a seizure of some sort? Is this like an old man thing?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Just help me.
and I
Help me.
kind of try and wake him up, try and get him to his senses, I guess.
He like suddenly reaches out and grabs onto your cardigan. His eye focuses on you as he just takes a. He's here.
Who's
What's
here?
here?
What? What do you mean? You're kind of scaring me, dude.
He wears this pale gray robe. He's kicked off his shoes in the night and everything. I don't know if Acrio might have been getting his armor on, but he like kind of pushes you aside and stumbles up to his feet, going to the altar, and suddenly says, "He's here. Everyone, remove your shoes. This is a sacred place. Can you hear it?
Sure, man.
Can you hear the wind? The hurricane. It's coming. Oh.
We have to take our shoes off.
Okay.
Yeah, I
How
do
can you stand it? How can you stand in his presence now?" And he like gets down on his face, and he seems to be like talking, like shouting, like over this incredible wind that he's kind of ranting about. Amrita, you can even hear this, while the rest of you experience nothing.
Could I ritual cast detect magic?
I mean, you're gonna let this happen for 10 minutes?
Wait, is it detect magic? Isn't that just
When
an
you
action
ritual
to cast?
cast it, it takes
To ritual
a
cast
while.
it takes
ritual
10
cast
minutes.
10 minutes plus
Yeah.
the casting time.
You
So
don't
you can
get
cast
free
it.
spells with ritual.
There's a no.
You gotta
there's a
work
price
for
to
it.
pay. Yeah.
I don't want to waste sorcery points on that.
All
question.
right.
But yeah, what are you guys doing?
I'm looking
Just
for
gonna do
someone
what he
who
says.
sees anything
He
out of
just
the ordinary.
continues to rant and bows down before this shrine with the bones on it, talking about like, you know, this wind and the cold and the heat of the sun beating down on him while you're in this place.
Yeah,
Mr.
I'm gonna
Want, sir? What the fuck are you talking about? There's nothing happening.
He can't even seem to recognize that you're there.
Yeah, get
He's
it
in
cast
some kind of
detect
episode.
magic.
Okay.
Whatever the fuck's going on.
How does that manifest to Asuriel? Are you like reaching out with your eyes or like an interior sense?
It's sort of like closing her eyes and just trying to listen almost.
Engage the other senses, things that are more innate. As you do so,
Mhm.
you can definitely feel there's an aura that feels green. It feels like the forest. There's still these like fireflies that kind of twinkle in the space, but it's nothing more intense than there was the night before. It's not entirely sure if this person is wholly sane, but he seems to believe that he's experienced something.
Wait, can she detect any sort of magic going directly from him, like an illusion spell, anything like that?
Nope.
Alright.
What the hell's going on down there?
Just kind of lean over to whisper to Laura. It's like, I'm not sure if he's just seeing things. There's magic, yes, but nothing really as intense as what he's describing.
Maybe we should just give him some space.
Maybe. A little concerned.
Rita tries to shout louder down the well. What the hell is going on down there?
No idea. I think he's losing his mind. I kind of turn to Reigen. Do you have any idea what the fuck is going on?
I got nothing.
Yeah, me neither. Good. Fun. Crazy old man. Of course.
Acrio's like halfway to putting his first boot back on, and he's hearing all this. He said take his shoes off and bow, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's like I said, this is
Where-
sacred space.
We're in somebody else's domain, so might as well follow the rules. Take the boot back off, put it aside, and
The
kneel.
floor is cold stone, but it doesn't feel particularly like divine or anything.
Yeah, I had a feeling, just don't make the old guy kill us while we're under his protection. Follow the rules of the crazy man. So I'll meander on over, and
Just as you do that, his back twists and he arches up on all fours. It then runs a hand through his thinning hair, kind of adjusts that bandana that he has over one eye, looks at you with his incredibly bright, piercing blue eye, and just says, "Yes, what would you like for breakfast? I have a few things in the larder." He goes and stands.
I think he might be just crazy.
oh,
Don't say that out loud.
well, no, that's over. Sure, we can take some breakfast before we head off. Meanders on over, puts his boots back on, call it a day.
Lorelei's just gonna nudge Asuriel, like, I wonder if there's something in the air that makes people have weird dreams in here.
Well, there's a lot of magic around here.
A lot of plants. Maybe we inhaled some weird fungus or something.
I just kind of do a thumbs up to Amrita. Seems like okay now.
Can Asuriel look around for weird fungus?
Sure. You can make a check.
Cocaine.
You're gonna find some fungus, but make a check to see if you find anything that's particularly odd.
Good to use it on this one. Very important.
Very important.
From the moss and the, root-covered walls, you do find some of that. I don't know the names of mushrooms. I'm not a mushroomologist, but that kind of stuff that looks like stair steps growing up, the sides of things, and you find some small patches, little rows of these red-capped mushrooms. They appear undisturbed.
Oh, the monkey's chair mushrooms.
They're,
I was thinking maybe they were
they're
chicken
called-
other words, but sure.
Totally.
They're called elf benches in Dutch.
That's so cute!
Oh my goodness. It's funny.
Gonna look at it, he's like, it's no weird. Well, there's weird fungus, but I don't think that's what caused the dreams.
You never know.
He's hunched over with his walking stick again, taking out things to add to a stew, making a broth over his little pit fire that he has in this space, lighting it up. There's not a lot of airflow, so it does kind of get smoky in here. But yeah, as if nothing weird happened, he's just gonna go about his morning.
So I was gonna ask, why? Who was here before?
Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, you were.
Amrita, the others she was with, were here. What do you mean?
She probably heard some of the footsteps from the geists above ground. Probably thought it was someone down here.
But no, you were.
Oh no, they cannot come down here.
Just elbow Asuriel in the ribs.
You need some help there with the food, sir. I can offer some assistance. I'm awake. I had this lovely dream tonight. It was...
That would be very appreciated, yes.
All right. I'll go and help him out.
It's a simple, stew. He doesn't have... There's no chickens left alive around here. There's venison. He's apparently been able to harvest a deer. Not sure if he killed it or if he just collected one that had been killed and he took what was salvageable from it.
Nice.
Sir, could you, for not any particular reason at all, sort of repeat what you said about the witch to me in particular so that I can sort of understand it, as it might pertain to something pretty important in what's going on with me.
There's are you familiar with skin witches?
I think I've probably heard of them, but not encountered them.
It's dark, dark magic. Flay their victims. They carry a bag of components made of tanned human flesh. Their effigies are nothing I would ever want to encounter. This one, I believe I've seen several of the children of Ghost. I'm not sure where she has them sequestered. Possibly a cave, possibly a shrine somewhere in the forest.
Right. I kind of turn towards the group. Some people don't believe that the magic Vistani use is real. Now, what's she called? Lady Amamar? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
She told me we would encounter someone who's training to be a witch. We're not even 2 days out of Korsava, and a witch is mentioned. If that's not some clear-cut fucking destiny, I don't know what is.
Yeah, you have a point. What was it? We had to send them to her?
I think so. For what reason? Avacyn knows, but, you know. So we're probably going to be... she would be training to be a witch, which means she's probably agreeing with whatever this skin witch is doing, which is kind of, you know, the name sort of... It's not good, is it? The skin witch?
No, it's
Doesn't
terrible.
Sound like it is.
Mm-hmm. So we might have to do some proper convincing.
Convincing or convincing?
I mean,
Convincing
we'll try with
or
words
sets
first.
his hand on his hammer.
Yeah, convincing points to Acrio's face, or convincing points to the hammer.
Yeah. Are we saying, come with us if you want to live and be raised by somebody else, or are we dragging her against her will out of that forest?
We don't know anything about the situation. So I guess we'll just go with the flow, you know, improvise. Do what we do best. Do some fucking chaotic shit. I don't know. What I do know is that Lady Amamar does not intend to hurt her. I think the reason probably is first to protect her, and second to she's probably going to be of some use to her. She wouldn't do it if we're in some sort of gain for the Vistani, or their branch of it at least.
Maybe she's under some kind of like mind control from the Skin Witch. And if we kill the Skin Witch, maybe we can just take her out of there pretty safely. That is presuming that there is someone there.
Yeah. Could be way off. We could be talking about a person who's training to be a witch 2 years from now. It's all possible, but coincidences sort of always line up this way in my personal experience.
No,
especially
that
when
was a good
someone
catch.
like Lady Amamar says it, because she's the real deal. I mean, you were sitting in the carriage at that moment. She knows her shit.
Absolutely, I don't doubt it.
So
Actor
how do
off
we
to the side,
find
like,
her?
no idea what anybody's talking about.
Amrita's still up in the well enjoying the peace and quiet.
Okay. So we will find this other witch. Possibly before, possibly after. Hopefully before, when we're all not. After we've had the shit kicked out of us by whatever this elder witch has in store for us. Hopefully your Vistani charm can get her to come with us without an issue.
It has worked a lot of times before. Though my skin is the best one out of all of us, so the Skin Witch is probably gonna come after me. I mean, that's just math, right? So maybe you guys have to do something when I'm dead.
We'll
Vistani
make
math.
sure nobody dies.
Sure.
It'll
It's a good goal.
usually that's the goal. Make
It's
sure
the
nobody
primary goal.
dies.
Arguably.
Well, you know,
I think having
sometimes.
fun should be the first one.
You can't have fun if you're dead, though.
I mean, it's called Endless Sleep or something like that, right? Sounds kind of fun.
Not really.
I can only hope it is.
Sure.
Whatever the case, we gotta find out when we get there.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
can speculate all we want, but until we see it, we're not going to have any idea.
Do we have a direction wand?
Yeah, I know it's nearby in the Somberwald. I've never ventured that deep myself.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. There's dangerous shit there.
Guess we're shooting in the dark and hoping Amrita has a good nose.
Well, if she's actively hunting people, we'll probably stumble across her either way.
Hmm.
Let's hope so. How's the food, Jake? Is it like decent, or is it like awful, or is it like pretty good for what the ingredients are?
It's pretty good.
Nice.
Pretty good.
It's like an old chicken stock broth, mostly vegetable based. There are some mushrooms in it. You don't hallucinate anything, but it's fairly light.
Is there a way while it's early in the morning for Amrita to look in this book of alchemic crafting and all that stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly a crafting thing. Let me pull it up. Where did I put it?
Yeah, it was something with recipes.
But it's very informative. It's called Alchemy or the Science of Magic by Geralf Sasani.
Okay.
And yeah, you can peruse that as you have before on the way here, pick up some tips for sure. You know some of how to use alchemical components. There's kind of two main branches of alchemy that are interwoven but kind of split. One is more the chemistry side of it in combining components, but then there's also infusing that with the natural magic of the world. This kind of veers toward the scientific exploration of alchemy, but you can certainly get some ideas from it. And like I said, it veers into some dark territory. In certain passages you read and you're going, oh, wait, what the fuck? This is weird. But yeah, you can pick up some stuff from it for sure.
Cool.
After I kind of finish up fast, and I want to go up the well to initially to annoy Amrita, of course. So
Yes, who you find reading, but you are also quickly inundated with the visions. You can see a little more of these geists, like this ash that has formed around them, but you can see the spectral form of the rest of them at times.
That's
it's
so
not
cool.
always like they never remain visible to you, but you catch glimpses better than most people do.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
it's
kind of
just
get
kind of from broken windows and hollowed out buildings and shit like that. They never want to be seen, but you see them moving.
I just kind of do one, what you reading? And then just immediately move on so that she loses her sentence, and that's like enough. And then I I want to get not to the edge of the circle, like not even that close, but like 10 feet from it, I guess, or 5 feet. And I kind of just want to look out to one of the half-moving specters. What's your name?
Roll.
Is there any?
Just roll a general charisma check.
It's like Amrita side glances that, but sees nobody else, just like, this fucking bad shit.
You hear several voices, none of which are really clear enough to pick up, and you're not sure if they're answering or kind of chittering amongst themselves, and they kind of scurry away. But you also hear then this shrill, maniacal that kind of then fades away, and it doesn't sound ghostly at all.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry for what you're going through. Unless you're a dick, in which case you deserve it. And I kind of go sit next to Amrita.
Talk to yourself out loud like that all the time.
Well, most of the time there's some interesting conversation to be had. There's always ghosts everywhere because, you know, this place fucking sucks. But most of the time, well, not most of the time, some of the time there's some interesting people. Most of them like kind of wail on about how they died because they're sort of stuck in that moment forever, or you know. But there's also like bakers who like to talk about baking, or you know, there's this, it's called Meredith, I think, and I kind of learned how to do sewing and stuff from her, and stuff like that. She comes back every once in a while, have a chat. So it's not all doom and gloom. And I was kind of hoping that maybe they were just curious, wanted to talk. But, you know, that laugh sounds very, very ominous.
At that point, Amrita, Cillian watches as Amrita just shuts the book and puts it away in the bag. And she doesn't look at him, but she goes back to looking out at the town, almost like in a thoughtful stance. But there's no like snide remark, but it's just like, I told you. The cult tried to bring back a devil, and well, in the end, I, amongst the others, failed to prevent that from happening, and this is the price of what has been paid. Several lives and people dead. I was there on the night when demons came and they stole several infants.
Do you blame yourself? Yeah, that's what I thought. I wasn't getting an answer from Rita, but that's fine. A man can try. You know, get to a point where you feel comfortable using the word friend. You don't have to yet. We'll get there. Don't worry.
How about annoying little pest that won't let me read in peace?
I've been called worse.
They almost done yet?
Probably. The old man. Yikes! There's something quite wrong, I think. It's kind of scary, to be honest. I think we should keep an eye on him. You know, you get a good vibe from this place, right? I get a good vibe. You kind of learn not to trust anyone because, well, they'll fuck you over most of the time, but we can trust this guy, right?
I knew him for a brief time here when this place still had several other people. He seemed rather harmless at the time, just, well, as some elderly people get in their state of mind. But I could imagine him being alone without any other people in this state. Maybe that could be a reason why he is the way he is now. I'm only guessing, though.
There's just some really strange magic going on here, and I don't trust it fully. It seems too good to be true, right?
I'm not really focused on any of that. I'm just focusing on the sooner we get out of here and get to Silburn in a better part ways, yada yada. And she just kind of like stands and goes over to check on Petunia again.
Sure. We'll wait for the group then. Well, Cillian strikes up conversation after conversation about shit Amrita does not want to talk about.
Nope.
Yeah, so Want has given you like no time limit or time frame on any of this. Like it's a request, but not a demand. So obviously, you guys are free to do whatever you want. If you want to leave early, you can, or if you want to take the day, if you want to handle anything in Gulst, what's left of it, that's fine. It's up to you.
Ah, long rest would be nice.
Yeah, maybe that. That.
I know we have a particularly impatient blood hunter who would not like to sit around in one place for too long.
No, she doesn't. I'm just playing my character like, where am I at right now?
At some point during the day when they're alone, this girl's gonna just ask her like, so who's the head?
Lorelei was probably like going over the herbal remedies that one had given her, just like kind of, maybe sniffing them, just seeing, where she can put them to make them most accessible, contemplating who to give them to, if anyone. Yeah, are they like leather or are they like glass?
It's like a hollowed out gourd with a cork in it.
Oh, wicked! So when Asuriel comes up, Lorelei just like drops it.
Oh,
freezes.
Gonna pick that up and try to give it back to her.
Just blank. She's like 1,000 yards staring. She just closes her hand. I was really hoping you'd forgotten about that.
I don't have a lot of memories, so I remember what's happened up until now.
Great. I made such a mistake.
What's wrong?
There's a person I knew, and you remind me a lot of him. And so that's why the name Lahed slipped out.
Amnesiac and kind of dumb?
Amnesiac, no, but he couldn't talk. Like, at all. I met him before I even met Amrita and the others. We met out in the forest somewhere, and he came up to me and tried to steal food from me, and then he never left. He just kind of stayed.
Oh, well, like I also saw him last night in the mausoleum. What happened to him?
That's the thing, I don't know.
Oh.
He just kind of disappeared. When I came to Kosovo, I brought him with me because I thought him staying with me would have been the worst thing for him, and I thought that maybe the church could take care of him, or I could find someone that would take him in. And that's when I met Amrita and everyone else. That's when I stayed with them, and then he vanished.
Oh. Maybe he just went back to the forest. Maybe he's just fine.
I don't think so.
Pat her on the back. She's gonna be quiet a little while, and she's gonna ask her, who's Claudia?
Wow, you really saw all of them, didn't you?
That's the only other one, I think. Well, there was also Lars, but I already asked about him.
Just kind of looks around, make sure no one's around. What you saw then was, it's easier if I just show you. And she starts to roll up her, which one has Claudia on it? Her left sleeve, and she will show the name Claudia in her left forearm.
It's not tattooed. It is in the same lettering that you had seen carved into alabaster. Not a precise font at all or anything like that. It is scarred into skin, and it's old.
Claudia was the name of my mother.
Oh.
And it didn't hurt as much as what made me do it. It's how I remember them. It's how I keep them with me. I have that. I have my father. I have Lahed's name. And I have Lars's as well.
I'm sorry I brought this up. It's just, I don't know, I'm nosy, I guess.
It's fine. Really, it's okay. There's no way anyone could assume that that's what it would have been.
Well, a little bit, because I saw them on gravestones.
Well, how are you supposed to know what they were?
Well, I know they were graves. And she just hugs Lorelei really tightly.
And Lorelei just bursts into tears.
Just hugs her even tighter and just like, ah.
They're having fun down there.
Cut upstairs and you just hear distant wailing.
When Lorelei finally calms down, she's gonna say, hey, you know, I've been kind of lucky so far, I guess, that none of those very desperate attacks really got to me in all the things we fought. But if it ever does, don't do that to yourself, please. Not for me. Okay, I don't want you to hurt.
It's the only way I know to make it stop hurting Asuriel.
Not sure it is, but
I know what you're trying to do. And I'm grateful, really. But I do it because I need to. I'm sorry.
get it?
And she just like squishes Asuriel's cheeks, like, and that should be more reason for you to take fucking care of yourself, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Be careful.
Sorry, try to keep it in the back. Didn't feel like going in the back all of a sudden.
Just stay out of trouble.
So I think there would be kind of like a small ball or something in like his supplies. I was just gonna say, how good is your throwing arm?
My throwing arm?
Mm-hmm. Want to play a game of catch? Have some fun? Instead of just reading a boring book?
I was actually thinking, and she looks around, she looks like she's trying to pinpoint some kind of path and everything. Like there's some kind of like itch that seems to be bothering her. A little tick or something. She's kind of just like fidgeting with her left foot. I need to go for a walk, but I don't know how safe it really is here.
Well, it isn't safe. I would not recommend it. I would recommend a game of catch with me, the most awesome person. Come on.
So you'd be scared to go that far, is that it?
Oh, you know my fucking... I was gonna say kryptonite, but it doesn't really exist in this universe. But,
Silver.
you know... yeah.
No. I mean, you're scared. You could stay here. It'll be fine. Seriously.
Sure, I'll go along with you on a walk, but...
Okay, that's not where I was going with this. You know what?
What were you going with this, then?
She like puts two fingers on her hand. I'm going to walk briefly over there. You could stay right here. Someone's got to watch the mules and the horse.
Yeah, sure, if that's what you want to do. Have fun. Huh? Go skip or something. I don't know what you do. I was like gearing up to say something like incredibly personal to you, and I was kind of gonna do it while we're having fun, and then we're gonna talk about, our lives and each other, and you just fucking denied all that, so you can't know now. You'll never know.
Oh no, it hurts deep in the soul.
As she's walking away.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh no.
Love you too.
She's walking away. And I'll stay with the fucking horses.
Rock's like, cut it.
It's mid-morning, 8 or 9. It's difficult to tell, obviously, as always in Stinsia. It's very dim and cloudy, so gauging time is a little weird. They do have clocks. Obviously not here because the town is destroyed, but...
Yeah, she's gonna make sure to move quietly, but not go too far. Is there just kind of a small set of any trees nearby or anything of that sort? Building, maybe?
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely pieces of buildings because you're in town. There are probably the husks of some trees that had been growing in town that are like burned. Roll me a percentile real quick. So as you're kind of cautiously making your way through what feels like was a street, kind of a dirt road through this little village of Gulst, keeping away from any of the ash-like undead things, you find this little grove of trees similar to what you've seen in other Stinsian towns where the hawthorns and oaks and maples are grown kind of in little grottos between houses. The houses are basically gone, and most of the trees are as well. You just find burned out trunks. But as you're kind of moving closer, you see one of them, what's left of this tree, has these small green buds growing out of it.
She goes over by the tree, and the gloves that she had on, she kind of takes the both of them off and sticks them in her pocket to just kind of pick one.
There is signs that in the new moon season, not everything in Gulst was consumed in that devilish fire.
Maybe there's some kind of hope after all. She grabs her chest and just feels almost like she's suffocating and everything, and just puts her hand against the wood and feels her nails just kind of like dig into it. And she's like, deal with any of this. I can't deal with the freaking... And she pushes her headband up as well and just tears some of the wood off and everything as she just unleashes the beast, basically.
Okay.
Are you fully transforming?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sorry I didn't bring this up before, but Cillian is following her. Of course. He's not gonna watch the fucking... That's boring. That's boring.
Then
I was like, it's only a matter of time.
Then we're gonna have to do a perception versus stealth check.
Mm-hmm.
Amrita does have advantage on that because of her enhanced senses.
But Cillian's also fucking slippery as shit.
Oh shit.
Come on. Oh my god!
No.
That's funny. That's funny.
I don't even know what to do. I'm laughing so hard.
What do you guys think?
I mean, He's got the +6 versus me, so I would allow that. I'd be okay with that. But in that moment,
Yeah.
it's just like I like to think that they'll make
I'll
eye
let you
contact
decide.
and see.
I'll let you decide what you think would be more fun for your story.
Yeah, just
So,
do that.
in that
Just do
case,
that. No, just do
here's
that.
what I'm gonna
That'd be
say.
funny.
So in that case, here's what I'm gonna say. Amrita, is you just plucked this little green sprout. It's not the only one, so you know you're not destroying the life of this thing, but just kind of rolling it around in your fingers. You're feeling that tightness in your chest and that clawing feeling, this presence that's been trying to get out for some time, denied the draw of the moon and the hunt. That kind of drops. You clutch the wood, your nails and the ends of your fingers extending into these long claws as you suddenly rake them down the side of the wood, leaving these gash marks in the charred ash inside of it. And your body starts to contort and transform. You feel the fur growing over you, and that need to go and hunt, that need to track and find something, some kind of prey. And just as you're doing that and turning toward the Somberwald, your blue and brown eyes lock on Cillian as he's halfway hidden behind a piece of building.
I run back to the group as fast as I can.
Wait, no. What the hell? What the hell, Cillian? I just
I am speed.
I'm pulling myself down on the
look,
pulley system.
Acrio's back.
And while I'm cutting down, I'm just gonna be cold the fur.
What? What's going on?
Hello.
Okay.
Acrio
Slow down,
is
breathe.
attaching the mules to the cart, getting everything prepared as Cillian suddenly bolts into view.
I'm pretty sure Amrita's a werewolf.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Are you fucking new?
I have known for a long time. They found out recently.
I can excuse,
Yeah.
but we pretty much met at the same time. Why am I being left out here?
Well, she did try and kill me, so... Well, she did turn to a werewolf behind my back while we were attacking another werewolf. But she didn't kill me, so I didn't kill her.
All right, so she's got it on lock.
Probably.
Because
yeah.
We
Sure.
were pretty much with her during those full moons. And she didn't turn.
She's got it pretty much under control, yeah.
She's special.
Something like that. She's not just she
Well, hi,
tears
Amrita.
after that. Has her gloves back on.
All right, listen, I'm sorry I followed you, but you can't really blame me, right? Now, you're the one with the secret.
Guess now you know what he meant over there by 2 more werewolves. She nods at Acrio and then just goes to get the horse, ignoring.
I'm so fucking stupid sometimes.
That's
Okay.
okay. I am most of the time.
Okay, you're not gonna kill me then? I shouldn't be keeping a silver knife by my bedside table every night?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. Maybe she'll keep the silver knife, but I don't think she's gonna kill us yet.
And also, Cillian, to be quite honest, she's probably going to kill you without turning into a werewolf.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes way more sense. I deserve it too. No, okay, cool. It's just an adjustment. I think you can't blame me for freaking out for just a second.
Not at all.
Answer your question.
Are you
Mark.
attracted to normal wolves?
What?
That's your question.
I mean, it sort of would make sense, right?
Would it?
I throw a rock at his head.
Oh my god.
I'm a person like
yeah.
you idiot. Anything else knowing about what I can do? Let's just say it's different than what normal people that are supposedly cursed can do. And she gets on her horse and everything, and just doesn't seem like she really wants to talk about that anymore. Kind of just getting annoyed with everything. It's like, she could probably kill you as a person, as a werewolf. She's like,
So Amrita's going ahead.
Yeah, well, actually, we need to figure that out now. Is if we wanted to leave, or two of the people wanted a long rest or something. We were waiting for you to come back. Because I figure like Acrio and Amrita maybe, but I don't know. Or somebody had pointed out.
I'm pretty good on firepower still, and I can take a hit. So I'm good to go. I still have a chance.
And also in-game.
No,
I was
have a
wondering,
chance.
in-game, who would want to actually spend the time resting in this haunted city, or be like, yeah, we need to get this done so we can go on to Silver.
Yeah, Acrio wouldn't want to stay here that long. He's already enjoyed the luxury of being in some ancient forbidden god's house long enough. He's not going to stay any longer.
Yeah, him and Amrita are sort of on the same page.
While you're doing this, like, you are still surrounded by this periodic glimpses of undead things kind of like patrol around. You can see in like the window of the house there's one that is like almost like spinning in place, like somebody who's just disoriented and just like moving around and around, and this weird like conversations in voices you don't understand, and laughter and things that get pushed over in the distance. You're not sure exactly why or where they came from.
Delightful. Yeah, so Acrio, like, during this conversation, his eyes are, like, tracing this. But yeah, if Amrita goes ahead... So, when she does her solo brooding where she goes off ahead of us, I'm going to gather everybody else up. Okay. As much as I'm fine with a werewolf being in the party, Cillian freaking out is enough justification for some amount of countermeasures. I don't know how, I don't know where, but as much as it's probably just her personality, we should probably have some contingencies against an actual werewolf wandering about in our midst. Because if she ever turns around and tries to rip our throat out, as much as I trust her as a friend, there's always the possibility.
I agree, totally. Although I don't have any particular plan.
Can I do a check on how to counter werewolves?
Sure. Make a religion check.
I just look at my moon silver flail.
Yeah. Is that actually made of silver? Is that like?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, delicious.
It is a very.
Oh yeah, because Amrita was like eyeing the flail.
Yeah, that's why she was eyeing it, because she. Yeah.
Get that shit away from
I
me.
do think you guys would have gotten back eventually that set of silver shackles that you had used to, arrest Magda during the night of the. Wouldn't call it an insurrection exactly, but the
Those are
problem.
on Acrio, aren't they?
What's up?
Those are on Acrio, aren't they?
Yeah, Lorelei gave them to
Whoever
them
would have taken
before.
them back.
Yeah. Oh, Acrio's got them. How much silver would you say is in those? Like, how big are they?
I don't know. I haven't done like a breakdown on what you could make out of them.
We
Okay.
don't have a
But-
volumetric measurement of silver mana.
Yeah. I always
Yeah.
need volumetric exact measurements of everything.
Yeah, no, I don't have that. But so Asuriel, thinking about it, the obvious things come to mind. Silver, of course, is their greatest bane, but there is the plant Wolf's Bane, which is supposed to deter them in some way. Abyssinian charms do something, but I mean, you've seen Amrita interacting with, in the church, and Lorelei has her symbol. Acrio's decked out in them. Like, that doesn't really seem to affect her at all, unless
And
maybe
I know
that's the
she
reason
speaks
for her mood.
Celestial too, so.
But she does also know the angelic language, or at least a few words. Nothing else really comes to mind. The way Wolfsbane works, primarily the way people use it, is if you were being attacked by a werewolf, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on it. If you just like wave it in its face, it is repulsive enough to them. Most of the time, they can still rip your throat out, but potentially, if you're being attacked, that's an option. Even if it's dried and such, it doesn't have to be like fresh or anything to function that way. It is just very toxic to werewolves.
And she'll just, well, there's Wolfsbane, I guess.
Got some of that. I bought that up a friend back in Corsica.
Whatever
And
the case.
I'll keep it, because if she does turn, she's going to kill me first. So I'll keep that.
That's not how that's going to work.
Well, I also look the most delicious.
I don't think it's based on that. Plus, like I said, she's going to kill you in a human form most sooner than that.
Sure. Do you think Wolfbang will work then as well? You know,
Maybe.
sprinkle it
I
in your face.
feel like the nose doesn't magically change. It's one nose to another. It does the same thing.
I'm not a werewolf.
Yeah, me neither.
Are any of you werewolves? Just you know.
Oh, well,
I know.
my
No.
great-grandfather's mother might have been a werewolf, but, I'm sure it doesn't pass down through bloodline.
Yeah, I don't think it's genetic.
Well, I went through a full moon once and I didn't turn, so no?
Fairly certain it's just Amrita.
It comes to it, right? And she does look like she's losing control. The best advice I can give is just keep your distance.
You can't outrun a werewolf.
You don't have to outrun a werewolf, you just have to outrun whatever else we're fighting.
So to be faster than the rest of the party.
Right. That instills confidence. I have an idea. I'm gonna do that thing. And Cillian, you like scissors, right?
Sure, I do like scissors, yeah.
Great. I've seen you
Especially
using
when they're
scissors.
stabbed in someone.
Okay. I have an idea, and I'll get to it eventually. But
Intriguing.
for now, I trust Amrita. I just don't know enough about her.
Yeah, me too.
You can trust her. I swear.
I know we can trust her, and I do. It's just, what if? I can't have somebody ripping the throats out of my friends in the middle of a fight or in the middle of the night, and we have nothing to deal with her.
Look, that's just, it's not going to happen, okay? I trust her. I've known about this for a long time. She has it under control.
It's
I
never
swear.
been a problem.
Lorelei physically hesitates.
And
That's what I thought.
as you do, Lorelei, you feel that bracelet of hair that goes up the one arm that is stitched into your body in various places. These symmetrical lines in 3 and 4 patterns that have all been sealed up kind of feels like it tightens, and you feel the scarring. That hair is all kind of like turning gray. It was originally a jet black, now you find it graying.
Look, if I tell you an incident where it has gone wrong, I need you to swear to me that you are not going to hold it against her.
You don't even have to tell her. Not to me
I don't
anyway.
need to know. I don't need to know.
It's why we're talking about this now, right? We have your silver flail, silver manacles, Wolfsbane. I think is going to be fine. We 4 can take out a werewolf. You've done so before.
We have the tools to deal with her. We won't hold it against her. We just have contingencies.
If it comes to it, I'll go ahead. I have the moon silver flail. It will probably At the very least, distract her enough for the rest of you to get some distance.
You can't protect us all at the same time. We were in pretty decent formation, and Asuriel almost got her throat ripped out the 6 seconds she wasn't behind me. I know that I can't keep everybody safe at the same time, so everybody has to have a little bit of a safeguard. Asuriel has her whatever that was that saved her ass from being torn apart. I'll have the silver manacles. You have your silver flail, and
Have some wolfsbane.
you have some wolfsbane. We're good, and we never hopefully have to use it. Now, let's get these carts ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Amrita, as you've ridden forward out of town toward the road, you can see the edge of this evergreen forest, Somberwald, being dense pines and spruce trees primarily. Several of the skeletal-like deciduous trees are starting to bud, but they're like hands reaching out of the rest of this green wood. Riding this old broodmare, it's a little difficult to control, especially in the city, without the elder near you. You see things shuffling, you hear them, and your horse does as well, as you have to kind of force her head forward, holding onto her mane since you have no tack or saddle. But as you leave kind of that presence of Gulst, you can still feel that nature within you seething. It didn't get out enough. You've covered your hands with the gloves, but the tips of your fingers, the claws have not fully retracted. Despite your efforts, you keep like clutching your hands, trying to get them to go back in, but you can still feel them as you're holding onto the fur of this horse. And there's something different, and it still wants to get out. All the while, you have to deal with this other feeling as you're like scanning the horizon, knowing that there is something else that's watching with you, and all of these presences, whether they conflict or not, just building to a tidal wave in your head.
Well, she's kind of gone again, sort of becoming that outlandish character once more from the beginning. She just kind of feels like she's reliving everything that had happened up to that point with William and them when they had all eventually found out, and just like also feels ashamed of herself for never telling that one person that she's never been able to tell, which is why she needs to find them in Silburn. But she groans internally and just like stares up at her forehead as well as she can. All right. What are you? Clearly you have some kind of way to speak to me. I'm willing to listen this time.
Less speaking, more internal monologue. That voice in your head.
Perhaps when we stop again.
You're on the move quite a bit. But we're not going anywhere.
Lovely. Do you have a name?
We don't know. Maybe We are an external component. Memory is in the mind. We don't have that. We have yours.
Deep inhale and continue riding along.
So fucking good at this, Jake.
I don't know if I want to sleep in the same room with you tonight.
Yeah, I'd be like, hello, exorcism.
Middle of the night, 4 a.m. He just leans over. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'd probably be like, "Whack."
God fucking damn it.
Instant divorce.
Just have the papers handy. Is Amrita traveling slowly enough to let the others catch up with the mules?
You mean with Petunia? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they're on the.
Yeah.
They have the mules,
Yeah, they have
which
the
are
mules,
not as
yeah.
not as quick. Yeah.
Yeah, she would
plus pulling two
slow down,
carts.
but it's just still apparent that she keeps the distance like she has this whole time, and maybe now Cillian knows why.
He doesn't know everything.
He doesn't know everything, but maybe that's one thing in his mind. He could be like, so that's why.
Before we set off, I'll be like, Lorelei, do you mind driving the cart? Or somebody?
Yeah, sure. I can drive.
Alright. Gonna be in the back for a little while. And I'll hop in. Do we want to take the extra cart or just leave it here? Probably not a great idea to.
So
Are we?
you really can't take the carts into the woods anyway. It's a couple hours to get kind of the edge of the dense part of the Somberwald, but it is an untracked forest, and being primarily evergreen, there are a lot of trees that are lower and kind of fill it out. So it's very difficult to travel. Even with a horse, it's nearly impossible.
Okay, so we'll leave them behind, take everything with us, drop it off at the tree line. Yeah, okay.
Because nothing's ever come out of the Somberwald.
Good to know.
Yeah, you can ride in the back, but like I said, it's only going to take a couple hours. I mean, you can kind of see off in the distance, but just the pace you're going, it takes a while to get to the edges of the forest. Obviously, are a little sparser. You can get somewhat in, but after a bit of winding through trees, it's dense enough that you're not going to be able to go in other than pushing your way through on foot.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're wanting to do something that takes a couple hours, you've got time to do it.
So, silver manacles weigh 6 pounds, and I'm guessing they're made out of steel. I want to say rapier would be like, what would a large, like, foot-long pair of scissors be?
Garden shears.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say they could function as a short sword.
A short sword? Okay.
Yeah,
we'll go short
because
sword.
you're effectively making half a scissor.
Okay.
Half a scissors, because that's the way he typically like takes the two apart and has the handle,
Stiz.
As a grip. But yeah.
So I'll just make 2 for a whole pair of very large scissors, and then
I'm just imagining just a garden shears.
Each one would be around 2 pounds in a ratio, and the shackles weigh 6, so I could get 4 pounds of silver out of it for the blades. And then, so what I'm going for is steel core, silver on the outside, kind of these very nice engraved scissors, or simple? Engraved? Simple? I don't know. I'll go look at Cillian. Cillian, how do you like your weapons?
Sharp?
To the man who doesn't use or
I don't
carry
know.
weapons.
Do you want that? Do you? Oh, all right. How do you like your scissors? Do you like them fancy or do you like them simple?
I like them fancy.
All right, fancy it is. Fancy engravings all along the blade, and then it'll be like steel core with wood around it for the handle, very intricate, maybe some leather wrapping, stuff like that. A very nice pair of very large scissors. And I'll spend the hour channeling divinity to make those.
Mm-hmm. And what does that kind of look like to Asuriel? She's probably right next to you in the back of the cart.
It's like playing, like Acrio's messing with like clay. It's like the object kind of melts into nothing, and then he's like grabbing clumps of silver and kind of kneading it into place with his thumb, and then kind of as he finalizes the shape of it, kind of it glows a bright whitish yellow, and as it kind of settles, it's this intricate silver blade with a very nice handle. The extra bits kind of melt away into this very nice weapon. Like the magic did the rest, he just got the general shape of it.
It's kind of like when you would use this to make that ladder. It's kind of like pulling components out of nowhere with just that have this kind of golden radiant light as their shape, but then as it all kind of coalesces, the material of these shackles transforms and coats this set of finely engraved scissors with like the symbol of Avacyn worked into them naturally. What else would Cillian think would be as far as the engravings? Is it like vines, or what would it be?
Let's see. I think... Oh, that's tough. Can I think on it for a bit?
Sure. Acrio's shield has got the symbol of Avacyn, obviously, but it's made over this circular kind of like embossed sun with like beams of light shining out from it related to Gisela. Lorelei's symbol has Avacyn with the crescent moon related to the archangel Bruna. I think the symbol that Asuriel had picked up for her kind of casting focus is the Sigarda's heron, which is the symbol that has like these wings that come out from the edge of it. When you make this set of scissors, that symbol of Avacyn that kind of forms onto kind of where the blades intersect, it's the symbol, but behind it is the round and spoked shape of a wagon wheel.
Heck, Jake. Oh my God. And I think the engravings would be like a family tree, basically.
Nice.
Just two and then connecting to one and then multiple and then like branching off everywhere. And then sometimes just these islands of, I don't know, but this very intricate family tree.
Nice.
Acrio's kind of surprised by how they turn out, because he gives it its general, the materials, the shape of the blade, what he wants it to be, but it's really the divine energy that gives it its final design. So when things like this pop out, he holds it up and he admires it, because he didn't make this. It was the angel's power that created it.
It was the tool.
Yeah.
That he channeled via the connection to the forge.
And
that's so cool. That's
hold
awesome.
It up and turn towards Cillian, who's probably a little farther up, and I'm like, come over here for a second. I've got something for you.
You're doing shit for me.
Well, I don't like my friends dying, so keeping you as well equipped as anybody else is important to me. And I'll hold the very large pair of scissors out to him, kind of presenting it.
Cillian is speechless for the first time in like forever. Thank you, Acrio. That's amazing. How did you know that It's like, how'd you know?
I don't. I make the shape, and the angel's power gives it its final form. What that takes, I don't know. It seems they've taken a liking to you, or know something about you. I don't know.
I've mostly kind of thought the angels were bullshit, that you had to fix your own shit, but I don't
Sometimes
know.
they come through.
I've been coming around a bit. I've been wearing this, and I point to like my earring with the symbol of Avacyn on it. Don't really know why. Don't really ever put my trust in her, but I think I like her. Sort of. Maybe. I don't know. But thanks for this. Holy shit, this is awesome. And I kind of like unlock them from each other and have like these two short swords.
Oh god.
Lock them back.
Spinning it around like a butterfly knife.
Oh yeah.
Swing, swing, swing.
Fucks with it.
I was like, I will turn this card around. Stop swinging blades around.
What do you have there? A knife!
No!
Now this is a knife.
This is a knife.
That's not a knife. Somebody pulls out like a short sword. Cillian pulls out his scissors.
Snip, snip.
And as you kind of look up
Thank you,
from transferring this over, you realize how much time has passed, and you see Amrita sitting on the back of her horse right at the edge of the forest line, just ready to go.
All right.
Look what Acrio made me.
Oh.
Neat.
And bonus points, I can make it even more powerful in the future.
Wow.
Very fancy. It was very annoying seeing you use those darts because I cannot make them more powerful. Usually
They're
it's
awesome
one
though,
thing.
right?
They are very, very cool, and I'm very
Yeah, that's
disappointed
right.
my power doesn't work on them. It's very cool seeing a zombie about to rip my throat out only for a dart to go through the back of its skull and out the eye.
And not even a
That's why I do
dart,
it.
it's just a
That's kinda
sewing
gross.
needle.
Does it look like there's any tracks at the edge of this somber wall? Blech.
What kind of tracks?
Just like there's been anyone that's walked through here recently other than us. As she
So
gets off the horse,
humanoid
she kinda look-
footprints?
Yeah, humanoid. Mm-hmm.
You would not find any.
Okay.
So, where
But
do
you
we
can
start?
make a survival check.
Okay. Then I will do that. That hurt me deep. Got a lot on my
Yeah.
mind.
I mean, it's difficult in the Somberwald because it is so much of a, evergreen forest. You get those pine needles that shed kind of seasonally. So there's a lot of the ground that's kind of that soft padded. There's not a lot of underbrush in most places. There's some kind of in clumps, but it's difficult to actually catch any prints because of the needles and such that don't really leave an impression. There's not a lot of exposed earth. I need two things. Firstly, I'm going to roll a d12, and then I need somebody to roll 20, and I also need someone to roll a d4, please.
I rolled D12.
Stein, you roll something.
Oh god.
Yeah, I'll do the 12.
No.
Oh, okay.
Wait, no. Stein, do the D12. I don't trust Salty. Sorry,
Yeah, I don't
Salty.
trust Salty.
You
I'll
did
do
it
the
last
D4
time.
then. Fuck you.
Yeah, you do the D4.
What?
What the fuck?
Hey,
Oh my god.
I definitely
Yeah.
doesn't mean bad.
Fear.
It,
You never
Yeah, the
know.
way random encounters work, it has to be close to what I rolled, or exactly the same number, so that it's truly random. It's not just the face of the die. And then what would the marching order be going into this forest? I assume Amrita's going first, but I don't
Yeah,
want to
she is.
make that decision for sure.
Amrita,
Yeah.
Acrio, and then whatever's behind.
I like to take up the back just so nothing pounces on Asuriel from behind.
Yeah, Squishy is in the middle.
Yeah, Squishy's in the middle. Squishy
I'll be
sandwich.
behind Acrio, I think, because he
All
just
right.
gave me cool sword, and I want to be close to him.
bros now.
I would give it a +1, but I have to wait till a long rest to do that.
Do I have something that can sort of hold it on my back or something? I don't think I do.
I imagine you're probably decked out with enough, accoutrement from your pack and stuff to, grab some leather. I mean, you've got basic sewing equipment, all sorts of stuff with you. Probably can whip up a couple leather straps.
Yeah, sure. That's probably what I'm doing.
It on, yeah.
So.
Yep.
Okay, so it's like crosslinks on my back. So it's like an open
hell
surface
yeah.
on my back.
Oh,
That's anime as
sick.
fuck. I love it.
It's nearly impossible for Amrita to pick up any tracks, even with her enhanced senses. You're going in a bit blind, but on the prayer that the path will reveal itself, that evidence of this witch and her activities will kind of get you where you're going, because they do tend to leave an effect on the world. They're not always the most subtle. They go out in the middle of the wilderness because if they were in town, everybody would be like, hey, that's a witch. It's super obvious. With the cloud cover of Stensia, as you're making your way into the Somberwald, brushing past the cedar and pine, there's a very fragrant smell to it, and yet there's also kind of that necrosis in the air, where that it just smells like in the wind there's something dead, not too far away, but it's hard to tell which direction. And the lightless sky being blocked out, once you get into it so far, you're basically blinded. It's like walking in night because the canopy is so dense. Amrita can still pierce through that darkness, and Asuriel finds that she had too, similar to the way she had recognized the Elder, it's like she doesn't really feel hampered at all by the lack of sunlight. Everyone else, however, not sure if you are just following Amrita and kind of praying that she sees something first, or if you're going to light a torch, lantern, whatever you've got to give yourself the ability to see.
Do you think we should light a lantern? I think it might be a bit risky.
Problem. We want to be able to see where we're going, but we don't want to invite all manner of nonsense. Acrio, what do you think?
We're 5 people entering somebody else's territory. I think they're gonna see us one way or another.
Well, at worst, we're kind of looking for them anyway, so maybe a trapping isn't that bad.
Yeah, except they might see us a mile away and run before we can even catch them.
That's true.
There might be other things there.
How dark is it? Like really, really dark?
It would count as like full darkness. I mean, there are patches of dim light where you can see, so it's not solid blackout, but even dim light, it's difficult to see for a human.
We can't be doing this in the darkness. We're gonna get ambushed. We need
Is there
light.
a way that Amrita could sneak a distance but still come back with her vision and stuff, but not stray too far?
It is possible. You are
You're leading
your
this
background
group.
feature says you have a excellent memory for geography. It is easy to get lost in a forest like this. It's not impossible that you won't, even as a wanderer. So, keep that in mind. But as long as she stays relatively close, you can do that.
Yeah, I'll light up my hooded lantern, weapon in the other hand, shield off right now.
I'll light up. I'll cast a light on my flail, so I've got some light, just so I can see anything in case anything sneaks up behind us.
You guys can keep the light close to you. I can see a good distance ahead, and if I need to go up a little bit but not stray too far, I can.
I'm alright too, but I don't think it's a good idea for me to go anywhere.
Probably not.
All right, let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Amrita's staying with the group for now, right?
Well, she was asking that. I could do this, but still be nearby, but not like straight too far, basically.
Where the
Yeah.
hell
Yeah.
are you?
No. Yeah,
Oh, but
exactly.
yeah,
You're leading this group,
that's
Amrita.
what I meant.
We need you here. So
Yeah, we need to be able to see you.
She says nothing and continues to walk, but half expected that, thinking it's like else. Like, yeah, she's leading, but it's like there's a lot going through her mind. That's why I like to think the survival failed anyway.
Not just your mind, but you still have that issue. Like you can just feel that wolf presence, like just beneath your skin, trying to get out. And you can't travel too far ahead because the density of these trees, once you pass 2 or 3, can't even really see the person behind you anymore. So you've got to kind of manage that. You're able to find some crude, not paths, but places where the trees are far enough apart that you can kind of manage your way through it.
She's going to use her ears for now, then, to see if she hears anything in the distance or around them.
Mm-hmm. Make a perception check, and you do have advantage on this. There are ambient noises of the forest. You're very familiar with most of them. Like, you can hear that very low steps of a quadrupedal creature, likely deer, other woodland habitation. There's nothing particularly menacing. I think up ahead, like directly, you've kind of come to this dense thicket of trees where you kind of have to go around them. You hear a raven or a crow, it's hard to say for sure, kind of caw. And Amrita, you're the first to see that to your left, kind of around this thicket, there's some kind of light that's not being produced by you. It's impossible to tell what it's coming from, but you can detect that there's little bits of light moving between the branches of the trees.
How many feet away?
I mean, it's maybe just on the other side of this thicket.
Over there to the left, there is some kind of light off in the distance. That's not coming from us specifically. It's a few feet away.
House. Trap. House. Possibly a trap. Possibly a house. Might as well check it out.
Or
You want to lead the way?
She'll peer over and see if she can
Right.
spot what it is.
I'm gonna investigate.
I mean, you can't. There's so many trees. Like, you're seeing it through the movement of the branches in the bit of breeze that cuts through here. Like, you can see that there is light, but it's impossible to tell.
Is there a way
what it
to
is.
investigate for any kind of hunting traps or any traps as we're going this direction?
Sure, if you're doing that, go ahead and make an investigation check.
All right, let me make sure I have the right toggle on.
As we go, I'm gonna tell
Fine.
Lorelei to watch the left path behind us as we move forward.
Okay.
That's typically the rear guard's job, so yes, that would definitely be something to do. Amrita, so as you're looking, kind of keeping your eyes moving up, down, all around, scanning for everything, no evidence of traps, bear traps, pits, anything like that. Very claustrophobic moving through these trees, but as you kind of move around this thicket, you find there is planted in the ground this wooden stake with, wrapping at the top that is just burning. You start to smell faint aroma of oil, like lamp oil, whale oil that's been soaked. But yeah, it's just this singular torch that is just planted in the ground. Nothing else around it.
No traps this far either.
Do you think it's to
is this
indicate something?
I don't know.
Like
Maybe.
a waypoint.
Like when you cross here, not going back? territory, something like that.
Could be.
And
Guess
from
we
that,
keep
once
going.
you've passed this thicket, you've got a path that kind of branches further to the left, as well as an area through some of the trees where you can start to see like more dense ivy, possibly poison ivy. You'd have to inspect a little closer to see. That's kind of like growing up through these evergreens and kind of cascading down around them. Makes it a little easier to walk because it makes the branches droop a bit, but you have both directions.
Is there any specific way or other light that she could probably smell or see in either of these distances?
Nope. That's singular torch planted is the only source of light other than what you guys have brought with you.
Let's try the way the torch looks like it's going down. Let's go down that path.
That is also where you can hear the sound of periodically this, bird kind of croaking.
Yeah, that'll be our best chance.
Alright.
I'm listening in to my third dimension shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you still got
That's just
Reigen
three
just kind
dimensions
of being
normal.
like, chatting in your ear about how fucking creepy this is, but you don't detect any other invasive undead. Amrita, as you're kind of passing through this area of vines, this ivy, it's not poison ivy, luckily, still kind of have to step around it, but you see this effigy, this stick and broom created thing that has been set up kind of in the corner of these trees where the wind is kind of rustling. There is a bird sitting on its shoulder, and this is what you guys happen upon.
Oh,
It has a leather-like face, thin skin pulled over something, otherwise made of wood and twigs, and this crow that's kind of like picking at it and pulling pieces apart.
Has she learned about witches before, or any other witches that have done something like this in general, or effigies at all? I don't know.
I believe you have advantage on history checks to recall information about things like that from your Hunter's Bane, so you can make a history check. You recall in your training with Garrick briefly touching on witches. That wasn't really his speciality, but the idea of a skin witch is kind of like lodged in your memory from just being disgusting sounding when you were younger. This definitely seems to have been that kind of work. Witches tend to work through totems and natural magic that has to be channeled, and they are known to make, effigies and utilize physical components more than like the Cathars who can channel through a holy symbol and that sort of thing. They are contained by what the earth provides. This definitely seems in line with it.
I knew witches you did this kind of thing, but now that I think about it, it's very disgusting knowledge, but good to know nonetheless. Could be a sign that we're getting closer. Maybe.
The raven that's sitting on the shoulder of this effigy doesn't really pay you any mind. It's continuing to like pick at the skin, pull at the cheek of this face that's been put over this. But you can see that around one of its legs, there's something tied and like a slip of parchment that's been rolled up.
Just precautionary, I'm casting courage on Amrita if she approaches the effigy.
Is that an
Which
actual
is-
spell, or are you just doing?
No, it is a spell that I'm
It's an actual
repeated.
spell.
Acrio just says, I cast courage on you.
It's placebo.
Yeah, I am repeatedly hand on her back as she approaches, just in case.
Mm-hmm. With Acrio coming up behind and like channeling this courage, Amrita, you feel yourself bolstered. Like if there was any hesitation before, it's just wiped away, and you like have no qualms about going forward. But as you're stepping closer, and Cillian kind of like peeks out from behind Acrio, following behind, this bird twitches, looks directly at Cillian, and then caws incredibly loudly.
I'm gonna try and shut it up and take the parchment.
It's not really possible to shut up the bird.
Grab its
It's
throat.
going to continue to caw, but you are able to snatch this little rolled up paper that has been attached to it.
I'm not crazy. You looked at me, right? You looked right at me, right?
Not looking at me.
I don't
Kinda
know.
look like it, yeah.
I'm gonna unfurl the thing while they're all debating that.
Okay.
I come in peace.
Then, as you unfurl this parchment, this is what you find. Amrita.
I'm scared.
What the fuck?
Oh.
Sir. Oh. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Oh, that son of a bitch. Amrita just rolls the paper back up and gives it back to, like, somebody pass this to Cillian.
I'll grab it and I'll pass it back to Cillian.
It's for you. You've got mail.
You've got mail.
Sorry,
Oh
slow
my
reader.
god, the last part.
Andre, you little shit.
You hand it to me?
That's why Amrita just, like, pass this back. I don't...
Like, super serious look on her face, and then she reads that last part.
yeah, just like...
It's like, oh no, what is it? And it's like, oh, right.
Oh, right.
Creepy email. Got it.
All right. I guess that's good as way of any to reach me.
Yeah,
That's
have
from
a
Andre.
crow feeding on nothing but a skin and flesh.
How do
Perfect
you
way.
get it up there?
I mean, ravens are carrion birds. That's what they do.
Yeah.
You're a smart one. Did Amrita let go of?
Yeah,
Raven?
not fucking
Yeah.
joking it.
Yeah.
You just grab the
It does
parchment,
not
just
particularly
like...
like being held, so yeah, it's kind of freaking out in your hands. The wings fluttering, trying to get away.
I guess it has food enough, so I won't offer him any food. But
Yeah.
we'll try to give him like a scritch of things.
If Amrita kind of lets go of it, it hops down, kind of like
Yeah, I've
looks up
seen
at you.
that.
You can kind of touch it, and then it's almost as though you can tell that its mission is complete, and it just bolts up through the trees.
Okay, bye, bird.
Well, that was the most creepy way to do that, but I guess I have some information now, which is good.
You're like peering around Asuriel. What the fuck just happened?
Yeah,
Amrita.
what is that?
Stupid
well-
Andre.
Yeah, it's a letter from
Oh.
Andre.
Oh.
The two werewolves we helped free, I guess they're well, werewolves is a bit not their entire identity, I guess, but I mean they're doing well, it seems. They're
That's
helping
nice. That's
out.
good. That's good.
Mm-hmm. They're heading off to Lambhold. And someone has a crush on you, and I give the letter to Asuriel.
Like, reads the entire thing and gets to it, he's like, I don't get it.
Move the legs
Oh,
along
no.
before
All
this
right.
happens. Talk as we go.
Oh, right, creepy forest. Totally forgot.
Yeah.
And a witch.
We'll unpack this later.
Just like... They're just like that last part of the note, she's still shaking her head, like, why?
Sorry, that's okay if you don't get it. I'll explain it later.
Wait, this is
Like, there's so many mistakes in here. She starts like correcting shit.
Oh God! Getting the little teacher's pen out. See me after class.
I do take it back from you once you've done that.
I can't tell if this is circling. All right, this looks like it's circling around, right? And then that's these are different paths.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Amrita, kind of your natural inclination toward forest dwelling. You kind of get a sense that, yeah, through this viney, ivy-covered area, there is a set of trees that kind of circle back to that thicket where you had initially found the torch, but there's another path that continues on. You, yeah, we'll have to go further to find anything else.
Does she hear anything or see any trap? No, I'm gonna do hear anything between the left or the right pathway?
There is no indication of anything else. There's still that kind of breeze that's rustling through the trees, kind of dampened just because of how dense they are. But once the bird has taken flight, you hear other wings up above. But other than that, fairly silent.
I guess she's going to go right and see what happens.
So what you can see is, firstly, kind of a path through the trees here where there's like one incredibly large tree with a bunch of, vines and underbrush around it. It would potentially be like an oak or something, not one of the evergreens. Its roots are exposed and kind of like sprawl out. The underbrush is enough to block your view. However, you do think around this tree there are means of pushing through the underbrush in one direction or another. But you're going to have to like force your way through it, and you're going to be blind until you do.
That's very reassuring. There's probably going to be some creature or something in here. All right, moving up. Wait, so this is the brush here and here?
Yeah, you can see these are the roots of this tree. It is right here, so you can push through it around. But then also right here is kind of, you can kind of sort of see that the trees clear out, but you're gonna have to push through them in order to get to the other side. And it's all eye level and above too, so you gotta get down and move through it, and you can't really tell exactly where you're going.
All right. Guess what do I want to do here? I need to be cautious and maybe try to smell if there's anything off or any other creatures in here. I don't know.
Hey, Lorelei, I'm gonna check back. Do you see another path going behind us? Can you and Asuriel take a peek behind us, see what's over here?
Okay.
I stand in such a way that I keep an eye on everyone.
From your current angle, that is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Until Spider calls up his arm later.
Yeah, all it's going to take is one spider.
Just shrill screaming.
Yeah, Lorelei, forging ahead, you find a torch that has been planted near a thicket, and it's very reminiscent of that one you had initially found. It feels like you've kind of circled back, and you find this light yet again.
Yeah, that's what I was
It's
thinking.
It's hard to tell if this is set up, like Cillian said, like the border of a territory, or possibly as some kind of marker.
Yeah. I think
Anything
that's a
back there,
marker.
Lorelei?
I think it circles back to the way we came.
Okay.
There is this path this way, though, but I'm not sure if that just also links up to where...
Seems
You can kind of tell that what you're seeing is one side of this massive oak tree that's surrounded with brush that you couldn't see from the angle Amrita originally had kind of come at it. You can kind of hear her voice and such on the other side, so you think maybe that's part of what you would push through. You could get here, but then there is also the other side that is unknown.
All right.
Yeah, just looks like a circle.
Take the lead, Amrita.
Yep.
Do you need a scissors to cut through?
Yeah. Snip, 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 snip. Yeah.
It just so
Gardening
happens.
shears.
Hey, Cillian Scissorhands.
All right, so Amrita is pushing forward.
Yeah, does it look like... So we would have to cut that stuff?
I mean,
Is
you
this a
can
block
cut, but
pathway?
it'll take a long time to cut it to make it like an actual path. I don't know how long you want to spend in the creepy forest, but you can just like push through. It's more a visual barrier than it is anything else. It's dense enough that you can't really see past it. But yeah, you can push forward.
I'll hand on Amrita's shoulder, follow her through.
All right. Yep.
We're doing a conga through the creepy forest.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And this is the story of how Lorelei gets left alone in the forest.
Yeah, taking up the rear. What do you have? Your dagger with the light cast on it?
I've got the
That
flail.
gray-
Yeah, I've got the flail
yes,
with
the
it
flail itself. Yeah.
on. Mm-hmm.
There's that moment when Asuriel passes through and you lose sight of her white cloak through the vines. It reminds you of the number of years that you spent in the woods by yourself, and just quick as you can bolt through there to catch up with everyone else.
It's like falls through.
Are you okay?
And
I'm fine.
as she's like making this ruckus and noise, Amrita, you turn the corner and you find another one of these effigies kind of in a small glade. You're kind of coming up on the back side of it. This one, it looks like someone took an old sweeping broom, or two of them, and then like made the X, and the broom head has this face hood pulled over it, but you can see like the straw sticking out of the eyes and the ear holes and such, while the other one is like making the arms.
That's good.
I hate these things. I do not like them.
They are rather...
Are there
And-
bugs crawling over these things, Jake?
There is not.
Okay.
However,
Really isn't that scared yet.
However, as you're kind of like making your way around, that face that's been pulled over the straw of this broom head that's been set up in the ground
Nope.
twists, and I need
No!
you to make a saving throw.
What do I have? What saving throw am I doing?
Wisdom saving throw, please.
Wisdom
Oh!
No!
save.
No! You son of a bitch, Jacob Isaiah!
Nice.
Ah!
And I need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, it's got a high initiative.
Mm,
Do not
Oh.
Yes. So this eyeless face with the dusty bottom of a broom like twists to look at you. You feel that pang of fear. Maybe it was that bolstering that you had gotten from Acrio, but you're quickly able to push it aside, and you are not frightened, as Cillian is the first to react to this thing suddenly moving.
Yeah. Immediately click. Unsheath one of them. So the other one is still on my back. I just immediately fucking stab through the thing.
Stab, stab. Oh, fuck. Argan.
oh, cool. It's like the Latin for silver. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Which would
Big
be
brain.
the angelic word, yes. Quickly cut through, like it's wood and twigs, so it's like cutting through a tree or a thicket, like you slash across it. Very easily connect. Go ahead and roll your damage. You will have sneak attack on this because Amrita's right next to it. However, it does not seem to take the full amount of impact from it.
Full damage and least amount of damage. Nice.
And you can, I don't know if you want to move away, but there's not much space to maneuver with the trees the way they are. And yeah, Amrita, shocked by this, but quickly overcoming it. You are kind of right up in the skin face of this thing.
Alright, quickly grab my weapon and slice. That's the enemy.
Again, you cut through some of the wood and the broom handle is notched slightly, but this steel blade is repelled slightly. Cillian took the largest chunk out of it, so it will kind of like this wooden handle, you hear the wood kind of like snap as it moves. It almost looks like a glove that's kind of like limply hanging off of it. This flayed skin hand is going to slash at you with sticks inside the fingers.
Oh, God.
Jake, how do you sleep at night? Genuinely.
But you are quick enough to dodge back, and it does not harm you. Or even touch you, because that's almost worse than being harmed by it.
Yeah.
And yeah, Acrio, you've got your lantern out, but of course hammer at the ready.
Yeah,
It's really just psychic damage.
Drop the lantern on the ground, because I think I can do that. Drop the lantern, two-hand the hammer, and just fucking bring it down on the fucking scarecrow.
And that is magical damage. So you all see in the darkness the weird shadows cast when Acrio sets his lantern down, because it's all kind of like being underlit as he like heaves the hammer, crashing into it. There's that trail of fire behind the hammer, and the effigy just ignites. It is now, basically burning and on fire. But
which is almost more terrifying.
Almost.
But it takes an incredible amount of damage from the fire.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, delicious.
Lorelei, you've heard all of this kind of
Yeah,
in the back of the trail. You're not sure. Suddenly everybody's kind of freaking out. You hear people hitting things. There's not been any sounds. It's not like there's a creature on the other side, but you can't see anything.
Okay, I'm gonna shovel up and be like, excuse me, Asuriel, and just kind of barge my way in front of her. I don't know if I really can, but I'm gonna.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just gonna nudge my way in front of her.
The walls aren't particularly solid. It's a tree, so you can kind of shove your way through the branches.
I'm gonna toll the dead on it and hope it works. Please be damaged by necrotic, because that's full damage. Yes!
You see
sorry, Dandy.
The weird skin mask that's like had been facing one way. You didn't see this, but it like twisted around on the head of the broom. The skin starts to shrivel up and dry and starts to fall off as the effigy burns, the fire finally reaching the straw, and the thing seems to rot almost out of existence, and it is destroyed as it smolders.
I don't think moisturizer is gonna help that skin.
Like
Moisturize
the
me.
face falling apart as like fire erupts from the eyes as it slowly
God, salty! It's like the pilot episode of Fringe.
Oh God.
Ew.
Where the faces all fall apart on the plane.
Yeah.
Go on, touch them.
It's like, okay, that's disgusting.
Not my favorite moment ever. Fuck.
Ah.
God, I hope there's no more.
There's gonna be more.
Avacyn, I hope there's no more.
Damn it.
Well, thankfully it seems that they're pretty easy to take care of.
I'm gonna make sure it's actually dead.
I mean, yeah, like
it.
The pieces of the broom kind of like burn. Like it's a pile of kindling within just a few moments. So yeah, you can kind of like push them around with your feet, but it's just a hump, a clump on the ground.
Okay.
Onward.
Did anyone get
wanna-
hurt?
I would love to finish up
I
real
think so.
quick. I think we're all good.
Try to grab me, but you know, I'm awesome, so
Yeah.
Pathways.
Make this quick.
Or does this look like a dead end down here?
Just gets shoved into the effigy and screams. It knocks him to the side into the pile. He's like, "Ah! My leg!"
You don't suspect it's a dead end, Amrita. So after you've kind of like been able to survey this glade without fear of weird skin hands touching you, you can see there is a path that leads to the south, kind of cut through the trees. Well, not cut, but just, you know, the trees are spaced enough. It looks completely natural. But then also to the west, leading out of this this area, it's make a survival check, please.
Like every
There is kind of
guidance
a
on
dirt ground here in the glade where the trees are far enough back that they haven't really been shedding needles.
Whew.
You do find, kind of surveying this space far away from the edges of the trees and the underbrush and growth, nearly would have missed it, but there's kind of a scratched claw mark that you then follow to another place, and you find very lightly indented but massive bear paw print, and it is seemingly facing this direction, having come from here.
Oh dear.
Looks like some kind of bear is also in these woods. So these marks look like heading in this vicinity.
You sure it's
Amrita, you would recall in your first misadventures in Gulst, there was the first set of children who were kidnapped
No!
that you managed to, I think rescue with Lars and the rest of them.
From a
Can't remember
distance,
if they-
I was
I don't think
following
they
you
died.
guys.
But there was this weird creature that had absconded with them, and when you encountered it, it changed its shape. Seemed to be like this little old woman that then changed into this massive black bear that was like scarred and damaged.
Oh shit. Does this smell like the same person? Or like the tracks
With a
look
19, I think there's enough in the air that I don't know that it smells like it, but there's something like triggered in your memory that that's the first thing that springs to mind. You would think bear print, a bear, but then for whatever reason that's what your mind was drawn to first.
Oh, that old hag.
What?
It's someone that can turn into a bear. It's a long story. Someone that has
Oh,
multiple
dear.
scars, a woman. In the beginning, when the other children were taken for the sacrifice. Damn it. I thought she was dead.
So we're not just dealing with a witch, we're dealing with a witch that can turn into a bear? Ooh, Nelly.
It's the direction she went, and that's the direction we're going to have to go.
Alright. Fuck. Alright, let's go.
Ah, damn it.
Into the woods we go.
kill a cow.
Yeah, but we're not
Into
going
the
to grandmother's
sun.
house.
With that new information, I'm gonna gently switch to one-hand mace and put my shield back on.
Cillian very softly whistles like a creepy tune for just a second, and then stops.
Fuck you. Die.
Why? Why would you do that?
You could whistle anything else.
What are you
Cillian.
talking about?
Cillian, don't
Don't you
fucking
fucking-
do that behind my ears. I will
All right.
kill you.
I'll blow my
I'm
flute
sorry.
into his ear later with a little louder.
You are literally in the middle of 4 people that could kick your ass. Don't whistle like that.
Please.
I've already stopped. I'm sorry.
All right.
If Reigen had the ability to drink, he would have done a spit take.
A spirit take.
All right. Does the pathway continue here? Does she see more of the prints?
But yeah, you've kind of pushed your way around some of the trees into another smaller opening, but you can see up ahead very clearly there is where like the dense thicket has grown in kind of around it, this deep pit that has been carved out of the earth.
Oh dear.
What was that?
Oh no, I was
This
just
pain.
looking for traps. Should have said something. We were describing.
I mean,
this big area looks very.
Yeah.
Sus.
yeah, I mean, with 5 you don't see anything other than
Yeah.
the pit across the way.
Okay. Oh dear. Any ideas?
The thicket around it is all very kind of like thorny, so it's almost impossible to climb over or around the edges of it, at least not very easily, and you risk getting caught in that in those thorns. But yeah, it's very clearly man-made, although man might not be the exact word, but it's carved out, clearly dug, and if you kind of like look down in it, you can see that there are, like sticks that have been sharpened and jabbed into the base of it.
Mm.
Oh dear.
Is there like
guess we
blood
just
or
jump.
anything like that on the spikes? Bones, tone?
Is Cillian going up to investigate?
Yeah, sure. No, well, I guess Amrita's kind of in the way.
I mean, you can
There.
just kind of push past her a little bit.
Sure,
That's
yeah,
fine if
I
you
want
want
to
to take a
investigate.
look. You do not see any blood on the spikes. There's no carcasses or anything, obviously that had died in there.
Alright, let's share the group. There might be some of these that are actually covered up ahead. Look out where you're stepping.
Nothing in them. Nothing in that one.
Nothing in this one.
Well, then it looks like they're expecting us. Great.
I figured that one, the totem came to life. At least the second one.
Probably.
Now, kind of looking at it, Cillian, you can see, obviously there's kind of a path through the trees forward, but if you could get the right angle, you could potentially cross either way. It'd obviously be easier, to go directly across. This way, you'd kind of have to push through a bunch of those thorny branch-like things, but it's not like it's a singular way across, and the underbrush is dense on every side. It's just kind of grows up next to it. You could potentially get different directions across it that you can see. So
I've got like really thick leather and plate armor. Can I just push through the thorns? Do they look like they would go through armor?
it's more like you'd get caught in it.
Okay.
Like your cloak and all of your clothing, like these are like the big thorns, like those
Ooh.
massive ones that grow on certain trees and such. It's kind of dense and overtaken this. It would be incredibly difficult, and most likely you would get restrained in them.
Got it.
How big is like
But
the
you don't
area
know
of
that for
thorns?
sure.
How big's like the area
I
of
mean,
thorns?
They kind of just grow into the underbrush and the trees.
Yeah.
I don't know that you could really find the edge of it per se.
Well, because what I was thinking is, I'd like to go through and cast Decompose on them to see if I can if not wither them away, but just weaken them enough, so that maybe we could make a path through them.
Kill them so they crumble.
Yeah.
Good.
Just
Potentially.
sog them
That
up a
could
bit.
work. Yeah, I mean, if you test it out,
Yeah.
channeling
I'll
your
go up it.
ability to kind of create that. Initially, there's fungus that springs out and grows over them, but then even that wilts, and it's very small patches. You'd have to take a long time to do that. but it is theoretically possible. And this pit's
I'm
only
just gonna start like working on that.
wide.
Like, if anyone has a quicker idea,
I'm
feel free
gonna
to do it. But
All right, I'm gonna try and jump from here across to here.
Okay.
I'm probably
it's a little difficult because you kind of need a running start to leap over it, but it is potentially doable. You can make an athletics check.
I'm probably the least likely. How deep is this pit, by the way?
I mean, it's only like less than 10 feet.
Can I just reach down with my hammer and go break all the spikes, jump down there, and then climb up?
I mean, is that what you want to try?
pogo stick down on your hammer so that like the hammer crushes the board before you land on it.
Oh, that would be really cool. Is there a very large stick?
I'm just gonna jump. I'll make the athletics check.
There are tons of trees. You could make a stick pretty easily.
Athletics.
I'm gonna put a little guidance on him. Guidance.
What I get 1d4 on top of whatever you give me. So
yeah, so you can roll 2d4.
Okay.
So here's what happens. As you're trying to everybody kind of step back. Cillian's trying to break a stick off of some tree to make something. You kind of get a little bit of a running start, but you're trying to leap at an angle. As your leg extends over this pit and you force your body forward, everything feels suddenly very wrong. And where you would think, oh, you jump and then land, suddenly it's like you jump and then you have this weird experience of falling, but the rest of you all watch as Acrio suddenly shoots up into the trees.
What?
And is launched, he continues moving forward, but it's like he's falling in reverse. And I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
What the fuck?
Acrio?
I don't know what's going on!
You take 7 points of bludgeoning fall damage as you make it across, but you fall through, you hit a bunch of tree branches on your way up, and then you fall back down 20 feet. And as you leave the area of this pit, you then fall back down. Gravity reverses to the way it should be, and you hit the dirt pretty hard. Your face is in the thorn thicket. You brush yourself out of that. There's something very unusual about this.
I don't like that. Where am I? Where did I go?
You ended up exactly where you kind of wanted to, but it's just you shot through a bunch of trees,
disappear,
falling upward until you then hit the ground.
My token's gone.
Should we tie a rope to each other?
I'm not sure that's a good idea.
I'm good. That hurt.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it though.
Is there a way to burn this? Probably not.
I
set the woods on fire.
Forest fire.
Jump, and I'll catch you. I think.
With Druidcraft, I can do small effects on plants. It's mostly bloom. It's mostly blooming effects, so I'm not sure how I can affect it so that it doesn't spike us. I don't know how thorns work exactly.
They hurt you.
Yes,
so
from that.
Channeling the natural magics that you have found in addition to your kind of white mana abilities, assisting Lorelei, seeing that there is definitely something weird about this pit in the areas that she's decomposing, you're able to kind of focus in on these vines and brambles, and basically you're able to soften the thorns to the point that they're almost just like another small little vine that's just completely limp. In certain areas, it kind of goes into a green vine form instead of the hardened thorn. And you think with enough work, you could probably, with Lorelei's assistance, doing what she's doing, make an area that is thin enough and dethorned enough that you could push through without the risk of it stuck in it.
let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just gonna decompose and wither, wither some thornage.
And I do some head sharing.
Some pruning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for
So are
tuning
you
into
going
this
the same-
episode of Gardener's World.
Get around this same corner of the pit that Acrio has landed, so you can kind of reconvene.
Amrita will attempt it.
No, I'm
I'll
asking about
do
like
that.
the work that they're
Oh.
doing to dethorn, or
Oh,
you just
to
kind of
dethorn, sorry.
jump over.
Yeah,
That
I'm
would-
trying to like dethorn the kind of path that he took,
Mhm.
so that we can
Yeah.
follow.
I guess we don't get yoked.
So,
Wait,
Amrita, are
is
you
this-
trying to leap the pit also, or are you gonna wait?
I'm
That
gonna
is up to
try
you.
to leave.
Okay.
All right.
I'm here to catch her.
Okay.
Guidance.
Also athletics.
Yes, please.
Hey.
She doesn't need that shit.
So, you also feel that weird sensation, like you get a bit of a running start, leap over. Your legs are long enough you could have almost just like, wide stretched, got over it. But you do have to kind of jump, and then it's like the first thing you feel your hair suddenly moving up, and like you're falling in reverse. You leap up, but then you like get across, tuck and roll just as you get to Acrio, and he's like waiting for you to fall out of the sky, but just roll and avoid any potential hazard from this.
I'm gonna, after Amrita's across, I'm gonna move past her and just kind of hold my hand out over the pit.
Mhm.
See if anything, does it do anything, or is it just people jumping?
Well, it's like the way if you held your hand out and then like released it, you would just fall, but you hold it out, and then as you kind of release, it does this until it kind of like pushes your hand back. It feels like gravity in the area of this just works in reverse.
Oh god.
There is some kind of like curse or something on this, some kind of magical something.
Okay. Next person, I'll grab you by the hand and then pull you across, because like you'll go into the air, and then I'll hold your hand, and then
By this
I'll just
point,
wait on the
I
brambles.
think with the
the
with
brushes.
the
Clear enough?
shears and the
Perfect.
druid craft, and of course Lorelei's decompose that she's got working on most of it, they kind of like cut an area enough that you kind of like have to skirt through, and there's not a lot of room because obviously you don't want to take too much time at it, but you're enough to get around it after a while.
Sure. Then we push past, and I kind of want to keep an eye out to see if there's like any dead animals that got caught in it and like dropped somewhere else.
Oh god.
Oh no.
So yeah, sure, make a perception check.
Squirrels can fall from any height and not die.
Just,
But can
I
they
mean,
fall
not
onto
exactly,
thorns
but-
and not die?
Yeah,
It's not,
probably.
they're not in it.
Yeah, so as you're working, like using these newly minted scissors to cut through, you do find where small animals have tried to force their way through the thicket, seemingly knowing that there was something wrong, possibly from experience, and a bunch of them have been caught in it. You're mostly finding old bones. They've rotted away by now, but yeah, there is evidence that things have tried to move around it and failed.
Sad.
Just while Amrita's moving forward, kind of take a peek over here.
Mhm.
Anything? Nothing.
And I keep an eye out
You see
for
more like ivy growing up some of the trees. Initially, there's obviously a little bit of a thicket kind of around there.
Yeah.
You'd have to go further to actually
Yeah, I'll just move
see
back
how
in
far it
place.
goes, but
Yeah, forward, Amrita.
Yeah, do I hear anything now? Or is it still just the wind?
at this point, not really. I mean, it's the same
All right.
sounds of the forest and nature, but nothing that's,
Yeah, I figured.
yeah.
Must have been the wind.
If I want to check the ground for like more traps and stuff like that, would I have to switch
Yeah.
with Echo?
That.
Kind of, yeah, because far enough back that they could easily trigger them before you would see them.
I'll swap.
If you'll allow me, sir.
Yeah.
In very English.
Between the two
And I'll
tankiest.
keep an eye out.
Yep.
This is the optimal position. Tank, squishy, tank, squishy, tank.
Yeah, we're in pattern. Perfect.
All
Cool.
right, come on, Amrita. Yeah,
So-
Did you just yell me?
So as you,
Uh-oh.
so as Cillian and Acrio switch places, Cillian, you're moving up behind Amrita to try to get a better lay of things, and if there's more of these like weird pit traps or anything like that. You hear a rustling in the brush, and just behind Amrita, in front of you, you see this small, kind of mangy black cat leap out of the forest, look up at you, hiss, and then move on.
Did he?
Cat that definitely saw us is definitely gonna tell someone we're here.
Is
All right,
it?
let's
According
hurry
to, more than that, according to at least, especially Vistani, but quite a few people's suspicions, a black cat crossing your path is bad luck.
Cool.
Huh?
That's inspiring some hope.
Nothing's on our side right now.
It's so cute.
When
know
you're in
which is
somebody else's
territory. It was
domain.
mangy and disgusting. That's not what a healthy cat looks like.
I've been fine with a little love.
Uh-oh. My lantern goes a lot farther than it should in a forest.
Well, you can see Amrita's the first, and then you peek around some of these trees. You have to step over some more of the like exposed roots, making it kind of
What's
difficult
this?
terrain. But there's another small clearing with a torch planted in the ground, just continually burning.
What is this? More roots right here?
Mhm.
Is it safe to cross? Does this look loose at all?
When it loose, what do you mean?
Like the ground would collapse underneath, or you just
Oh,
walk over it?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's loose ground. The roots have just kind of like grown
Okay.
over the surface of it. You know, they're kind of exposed. It's tripping hazard, but not necessarily, nothing that's going to collapse out from underneath you from
Not
either
like
you or
Lara
Cillian's.
Croft.
Yeah, either you or Cillian looking for, traps and hazards. There's no trip wires or any evidence of like another pit.
Right.
You don't see anything like that.
I don't
But
see
you do
any
see
other
that torch that's burning.
Alright,
That
Torch.
seems like a trap if I've ever seen one.
probably. Does it look like there's any other tracks, or probably not?
Make a survival check. Does your Hunter's Bane let you have advantage on tracking creatures? I can't remember.
Let me double check.
I know it's
that.
recalling adventure information about them, but that might be a ranger thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
Specifically,
Oh.
Yeah,
checks to
advantage
track
on survival
monstrosity.
checks to track. Oh.
Okay.
Monstrosities, fiends, and undead. Which this would not be. So that
Yeah,
unfortunately
alright.
does not help you. But so yeah. No signs of anything in this particular area.
So
That you
this
can
is just a
find.
dead end then with the torch.
As they move forward,
Seemingly.
I'll move here.
Hmm.
I want to feel the ground around the torch, see if it's loose. Something's there.
Lorelei, watch that other.
I mean, it's dry earth.
It's dead end.
But yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
but-
It's not like worked or tilled at all. But
Okay.
it feels like this torch has probably been planted here some time ago and has just been like part of the natural environment at this point.
Could I do an investigation check or something like that
For
for any passages out of here that might be secretive?
sure, go ahead.
I'll give myself some guidance.
Despite the fact your eyes can cut through the darkness in this dim area where the cloudy ambient skylight can't really reach, you can still see, but the undergrowth in certain areas and just the evergreen trees being dense as they are, there's no evidence of anything that really moves through this area other than where you can see Acrio is kind of skirted around those exposed roots, and there's kind of this little tunnel almost. Other than that, you don't find anything.
Oh wow.
I'll usher Amrita past me to take the lead again down this path. And back in formation we go.
As you kind of move into this space, you find a incredibly large tree that has just ivy and vines growing up the entire trunk of it. You can't even tell how high this tree is. It goes past the rest of the evergreens and the cedar branches that reach toward it. But you can see the trunk. I mean, it's probably 10 foot in diameter or more, just encased in vines. And there is the light of a torch on the other side of it, another one of these kind of planted in the ground. The opposite direction, there's another path that leads away from that, but you're not entirely sure. Amrita, you would see at that distance, on the opposite side of this massive tree, there's this other bramble thicket, and this kind of like through the edges of the trees that are kind of swaying, you can see one of these effigies just staring back at you.
There's another effigy over there. I don't
Where?
think it's moving. Far yonder over there.
Oh,
Beyond the
okay.
trees. But maybe
I'm
we
not going first.
maybe we keep going the way where these torches are. I don't know.
I will loop around cautiously.
As you skirt around the tree
fuck.
toward the torch in the clearing, you find kind of in the corner of some trees that you hadn't been able to see from the angle, another one of these scarecrow-like constructed things made of sticks and brooms and a skin face just waiting.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
I'm skirting around the back, opposite corner, hand on my
Hold up.
own chest, casting courage.
Okay. As you do, and you try to move away from this tree, one of the vines starts to like slither down and whips out at Acrio and is going to try to whip at him
You bitch! I have
Whip.
my shield.
from an unknown.
Vine whip!
shield
It's
up.
a
It, like,
boxer! No!
Hits your metal plating, almost gripping onto that pale cloak you wear, but you're able to beat it back with your shield. Cillian, you see this, really you don't even see it. You hear kind of this weird, like, sound, and Acrio just be like, get off me! Get off me!
Fuck! Fuck!
But you're not
Right,
entirely...
so-
I don't know that you're entirely sure why or what the source of that is. From
Sure.
your position, you probably couldn't even see either of the effigies. I'm not sure how far your sight would go if you could have seen the one over there or not.
Probably not. So I'll just move over here.
And yeah,
What
from
do I
there you
see?
can kind of see the vine like slithering along the ground, retracting back up to this tree.
Okay. And I'll move over, I guess. Okay.
From this angle, you
focus.
can
I'm
see the
gonna-
torch. You can see this skin effigy.
I don't know what to do. Okay, fuck it. I'll make a judgment call. If it does nothing, it does nothing. I'm gonna throw a dart or a needle at the effigy.
Ooh.
It does not seem to be moving. Stationary target, very easy to hit. Sticks into the skin, just kind of like limply hanging in the cheek of the face. Doesn't do a
Sure.
huge amount, but
Yeah,
It
nothing
is what
happens
it
to the
is.
vine.
no, you don't see the vines on this tree reacting to that at all.
Okay. And then guess I'll use my bonus to just sort of walk over here.
Standing next to that torch in the little clearing.
Move through here. Oh, man, I put me right next to it. You know what? That'll be fine. whack it
Wait,
with my weapon.
Okay.
Slice and
You're
dice.
not going to be igniting your Crimson Rite on it, just to make sure, because you have seen they burn quite easily, so that's up to you.
I don't think I should right now. So no.
Okay.
She knows that, but for safety precautions.
Sure. So again, it hasn't moved, so it you just hack right into it and lop off a part of the broom. The face doesn't seem to react to that at all.
All right.
Oh boy, I don't know where the fuck anybody went. I'm just hearing carnage. Like,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah, you move forward, trying, you see this massive tree here, but yeah, you had kind of thought everybody, you weren't sure where all everyone had gone, but suddenly you catch sight of Acrio around the edge of this.
I'm just like, what are we hitting?
Not sure yet.
What are we attacking? I'm just gonna hold the dead for if I see what we're attacking, because I'm not sure. All I hear is carnage. I'm not 100% sure where it's coming from.
And so this effigy that Cillian had launched this needle at, and Amrita comes up and suddenly hacks into with her saber. Hadn't moved at all, but then suddenly with a twisting motion just spins around on its broomstick and tries to slash and slap with a skin hand at Amrita.
Have my beast endurance as well, so we don't forget. And it misses anyway. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm a dork.
Not moving on any kind of feet or anything, just being implanted in the ground. It can't actually seem to connect with this quick spin, but it spins so quickly trying to get you with this hand. As soon as it stops, that skin face on the top kind of keeps spinning with the force of the motion as it just kind of continues to spin around the top of it.
Thanks, I hate it.
dude.
Meanwhile,
Uh-oh.
Asuriel, you can see through the dark down that other path where, away from the torchlight, you hear crunching and breaking, snapping wood as
God damn
it suddenly unimplants itself from the ground, and just the end of the broom goes upward, and both hands feet start on the ground. The only thing it's going to do right now, because of how far it has to move, is you need to make a wisdom saving throw against its terrifying glare.
You're literally being ganked
It
by
is
fiddlesticks
it
right
is
now.
horrifying.
Oh my god.
That is, however, enough to pass. You're still mortified, but you're not paralyzed with fear.
Excuse me? Paralyzed?
I don't see anything over here, right?
I mean, can you see that far with your light?
Oh, I can see it right there. I can see
Then,
it.
yeah, just
I
at
can
the
just
very
barely
edge.
see it.
Oh
It
god,
would be
what's
in dim
happening
light,
now?
but you can just make it out.
I hear that crunching, and I know Asuriel is our resident squishy. I'm gonna you two got this. I gotta get Asuriel. Oh wait,
So
why
she
am I
definitely
locking?
screamed when she saw that thing come out.
You've got to brush past Lorelei, and it's
25?
difficult terrain to move through. Yeah, move through a friendly creature space. He's gonna
25.
push yourself through the
Sorry.
vines.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can't go quite as far, but you can still get Asuriel within line of sight.
Okay.
As
that
well
I'm
as this
here,
scarecrow moving on its skin hands.
just shoving past Lorelei. Sorry, I'm just gonna immediately reach my hammer out, and I'm gonna pop 2 of my scorching rays off at it instead of all 3.
The first one is going to hit,
9.
which is quite a bit. Even though the second one doesn't seem to add to it very much, this mote of fire from the end of your hammer, that little object, that gem that kind of hovers above it, igniting into flames and then launching out, you A person would probably scream as it's engulfed in this much flame, but there is no sound created by this other than the crunching and snapping of twigs and like that. It sounds like a campfire, like a little crackling.
And then I'm going to not use spiritual weapon because that's my last second level spell. Because it probably doesn't like me. I'm not going to cast Sanctuary on Asuriel. That's my turn.
Yeah, don't worry, I still got time to run.
Speaking of, as you say that, this vine-covered tree, they all start to writhe and spread out over the ground, and everyone within 15 feet of this tree, which is literally everyone, is going to have to make a strength saving throw or become restrained as these vines start wrapping up your legs.
Restrained. Yikes.
Not me,
Yes.
bitch! Oh my god!
Damn, these rolls.
I'm in danger.
Wow, it's either really high or really low.
Anyway, the wind.
Yeah, Asuriel and Cillian for sure begin to find yourself being pulled down and wrapped up in these vines. Everyone else, 15-foot radius from this tree is difficult terrain. Just walking through them, they're trying to trip you constantly, but the two of them are restrained by these vines, and Asuriel's plan of running away doesn't seem like it's gonna happen at this point, as you are up.
There goes my firebolt.
Still do so though, restrained, right?
Oh yeah, you just can't move, and attacks have disadvantage. I think dex saves are a disadvantage.
Alright, well, I'm probably not gonna get out of there with just my strength. But fuck it. Flame Blade. Try to slash at the vines.
Yes, you manifest this radiant fiery blade with kind of that hooked sickle-like shape, almost like a scythe, cutting at the vines around your feet. They're still moving around you. Unfortunately, you can't reach the source of this vine blight, so you will not actually be able to attack it as a creature. So you have that blade, but you are still restrained, unfortunately.
Well, shit. Casting is a bonus action, so can I try to get out?
Yes, it is an action to attempt a strength save to try to free itself. Yeah.
All
Or another,
right.
or you can try to free another entangled creature if they're within your reach.
So I'm gonna try. That was not supposed to be a disadvantage, but
Either way, you will succeed.
yay! I can get behind Acrio.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to like stumble over these vines that are still like twisting and writhing on the ground after you've managed to force your legs out of them, pulling your arms free. You can use that flame blade to kind of like cut them off you, and get far enough away from this other scarecrow thing. Cillian, you are up, restrained. You can attempt an action, strength save to get out, or maintain restrainedness. That's up to you.
What would determining the source of the vines be?
I mean, you can see them all around this tree, and they kind of like spread out from the base of it. You saw the one that whipped out at Acrio came from around this tree. They seem to all be clustered. Like, not so much that the tree itself is the source of them, but that's the main growth.
Okay. I think the best use of my time is just the like grab the needle that's in my mouth, where I can just reach, and just throw it at the scarecrow. Amrita is in because he's in melee with her, right?
Yep. However,
Although
because
I have
you have
disadvantage.
Yeah, so you will not be able to do sneak attack, but still potentially hit it, possibly. It's not particularly difficult to hit, but kind of pin that skin face on it in place so it can't move anymore. Amrita, you see Cillian like next to that torch, kind of dangerously close to it, but he's wrapped up in vines. You've managed to kick a bunch of them off and can still move, but it is difficult.
this thing look like it's going to go down anytime soon?
Doesn't look like you've done much to it, honestly.
All right, if that's the case, time to just go ahead and crimson right. Yeah, she just quickly takes the blade and just like, hang on, and cuts her hand as like the flame in her eyes just begin to glow and goes to stab at this thing. Burn, baby, burn.
Dang, alright, cool. That did a lot to it. The fire trailing off of your blade just sets part of it ablaze. It's still kind of moving, but not nearly as well as it had been a moment ago.
Good. And that is it.
Cool, so I don't have a visual on anything that's attacking right now. Do I? I can't see
So
shit.
you can see this scarecrow over here. It doesn't seem to be attacking, but it is menacingly, like the broom is tipped upside down, so it's like sticking up in the air like you would actually use a broom, but like on these stick arms with fleshy hands.
Mm-mm. No, don't like it. No,
It's
don't
definitely
like that.
unpleasant to look at.
Yeah,
even if
no,
it's
I
not
don't like it at all.
Immediately hazardous.
Well, I'm gonna be immediately hazardous to it, and I'm gonna tell the dead its face, because fuck you, that's disgusting.
Disgusting.
Fuck.
Pain.
Something about this one seems to resist. Kind of get the feeling maybe it's because it's the proximity to the source of its power that it just repels your attempt to rot it.
Angie.
You are not restrained, so you can move, but it is difficult terrain.
Yeah, I'm just gonna move like about here. I'm just gonna stay here because Asuriel
Moving
also
around
with a
the
flaming
tree.
blade is like, what the fuck? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, fine.
Moving around the tree, holding up your moonsilver flail with that light on it, you can now see the torch in the clearing with Cillian wrapped up and this other effigy that's burning, combating with Amrita and her flaming saber.
Everyone
which
good? Everyone okay?
we'll see, because it is its turn to go against Amrita again, just like spinning in place. This hand kind of like almost flopping, but with like these thorny sticks underneath the flesh.
Aha!
Very easily parry with this flaming blade, as the one on the other side of the tree is just going to glare at Acrio, kind of the fire that he had launched at it starting to simmer out, but like smoke trailing up from the eye holes. And I'm going to need you to make a wisdom saving throw, please. That is just enough.
Oh, good. I was about to use that point of human determination. I don't like being scared from afar. So, yeah, difficult. So that would be 20 feet to get to here? Or 15?
That would be 15.
Okay. Lantern gives me my shield hand. Bah!
So yeah, cannot resist magical damage. It is barely clinging on to its constructed existence.
Okay, that's fine.
But it still kind of like twists, and the smoke coming out of its eyes stares up at you.
Yeah.
Another of these vines, since you tried to move away from this vine-covered tree, is going to whip out at you, Acrio.
Oh, fuck, right in the back.
You go.
Asshole.
While the second one is going to go for Cillian, which would have advantage because he's restrained.
69.
But just
Nice.
hits more of the vines
Nice.
covering you, and is unable to pull you any closer to it.
Wait, what? Excuse me?
Yeah, that's what the vines do, is they pull you along the ground as you
Excuse
claw
me?
at the earth.
Excuse me?
But Asuriel, you're right up next to the vines, so it's not going to pull you any closer.
Well, since you just saw it lash out at Acrio's gonna stab that fucking tree for whatever it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
with a giant blade of fire.
Yes.
Only you can cause forest fires.
Hey, in this case, I don't mind. Oh, fuck.
This is the third nat one, I think. I've rolled
So,
this,
yeah.
this.
You reach back with this flaming, small scythe blade and jab it into the tree. A bunch of the vines kind of like move away from that, and as it's kind of like stuck in the stump of the wood, it doesn't seem to affect them at all. The vines continue to move as if the tree itself is not the source of that, and you have missed any of the vines, unfortunately.
I'll try to free myself. Frail boy.
Strength save. Unfortunately, that is not quite enough.
I will use my bonus action to draw both.
So
Argon.
you can draw one, but you have to have the dual wielder feat to draw them both at the same time.
Oh, okay. Then I'll use this to draw one.
Sure. Yep. That works. Amrita, flaming blade in hand, combating this stationary scarecrow effigy.
Slice and dice. Burn, baby, burn. Please.
It's being fun.
No.
Nice. It is still kind of functioning, but on its last branch.
Dang you.
Okay.
You see Cillian struggling against the vines, unable to break his way free, but pulling out one of these blades.
I'm gonna aim a Toll the Dead at the effigy that Amrita's fighting and be like, Amrita, I've got this one. Go help Cillian. Toll its face. Another 15! Never mind! You've got it, Amrita. I'm so proud of you. Nobody saw that.
Again, maybe it's
I saw
it's a sign that you're getting closer to the source of their creator, but
Please, Maybelline.
the magic you channel is not having any effect.
At least it worked once.
One of these I'm gonna go for Acrio, the other one for Amrita in this order.
Aha!
I think an 18 will miss Acrio, actually.
I've got a shield, so it's 20, sorry.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to be sure. The hand will batter at the shield, just bouncing off of it, and on fire from Amrita's attacks, just this burning flesh smell comes swinging at you, and you can easily move out of the way of it. Neither of them are able to connect, and Acrio, it's your turn.
Another single-handed hit.
It is absolutely destroyed with one final strike.
Yay.
Yeah, just like, I don't even want to be near it. I like, instead of swinging over, under, I go under, up, and just like knock it
Baseball
back in.
swing?
Yeah. No, like golf club swing.
Oh shit.
Just back into the forest with you. Yeah.
Boy!
And then
As you do, one of those vines is going to go toward you, just trying to catch your legs, and you can like stomp it away. 13, does that hit you, Asuriel? Because you're trying to attack it.
I'm 11 AC.
Yeah. You're going to take 8 piercing damage from kind of the thorns of this thing. You're not going to be able to be pulled any closer. However, I need you to make a dex save or be yanked prone.
Bruh.
Your feet are ripped out from underneath you as you're just barely maintaining hold on this flaming blade.
Oh wait, shit, I need to roll con for that.
Oh yeah, concentration.
Oh yeah. You maintain.
Ooh.
Just barely hanging on to this flaming blade.
Oh yeah, she's standing back up. Standing back up.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Just shear through a bunch of these vines. Nice. They don't seem to burn as badly as the these effigies, but cut and burn away some of the vines around you.
Yeah, go over the other side of Acrio.
You've only got 15 feet of movement, and with difficult terrain, you can only move 7.5. So unfortunately, yeah, you can only move like 1 space away.
Well, you just
in total.
beside him. Here's a good place.
Sure.
Yeah.
feels safer next to Acrio.
Yeah.
Try and escape again.
Escape command. Yeah!
This time, yeah. Maybe the vines are more focused on the other side of the tree, but you're able to rip your way out with this silver blade just slicing through a bunch of them.
Okay. And then I'll I have a bonus action. Am I out of the vine area when I stand here?
Yeah, so stepping out of there, you would be out of its difficult terrain area.
Okay. Yeah, fuck it. I'll hide. I assume I can hide because there's a lot of foliage and stuff.
You can certainly try.
Jump into the thorns. Oh, fuck!
Great. I'm useful, guys.
Well, you saw me.
So, Amrita, you can still see Cillian fumbling in the foliage, unfortunately, but
Well, at least it doesn't look as bad as before, so. Oh. All right, here we go. Come on, big money. Stab.
Money. Kill.
Kill.
Murder.
Maim. Burn. No. And that one on the fire.
Kill. Maim. Crisp.
even the one being doubled is what's going to save you, and it will destroy it.
Yes.
Because it
Good
is
job.
vulnerable to burning fire.
Oh, thank God.
Are you going to move it all from there? Once this thing is wrecked.
Move her a little bit over here away from the tree.
We're all good. Okay, everyone's fine. Everyone's good. Everyone's fine. I'm just gonna take the. I'm gonna take the flail and just start bapping the vines. I'm not concentrating on anything, so that's just a regular plus dose. Hello. Hello.
Delicious.
Good, I need to roll something. I forgot to be doing this.
Haha, no.
Okay, nope. That will smash into the side of the tree and crush some of the vines.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Never had to fight a tree before.
to do this.
Do a quick pow or single pow against the tree. Oh, goodbye, tree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna roll another d20 now.
Show us how it's
Is
done.
this going to be for bludgeoning or fire?
Let's make it fire.
Alrighty.
Fire. Fire keeps
Whiskey.
doing damage.
Hot flash. Roll your damage as normal. The creature is on fire. While it is on fire, it takes 2d4 damage at the start of each of its turns. Interesting. It can end the condition by dropping prone and using 5 feet of movement to roll on the ground. Can't really do that.
The tree go.
So I roll everything is normal.
Yeah, so you can just click and I'll calculate whatever it is on the normal
Okay.
rolls. Noted. And then roll another 2d4 because the start of its turn comes right up as it
Holy
continues
crap.
to burn.
Ooh.
Ooh. Another 4.
Whiskey.
The only two creatures that have tried to move away from it, which it does not like, are Cillian and Amrita, which seems to definitely still know what Cillian is. And both of these are going to whip out first Cillian, then Amrita.
Wow, fuck that. Okay.
Haha. Suck it.
I dodge it because it gets stuck in like a bramble. Shoots in front of me.
And I was like, oh.
I'm gonna keep slashing at the tree, trying to set it more on fire.
I mean, you're aiming for the vines on the tree, I assume, not the tree itself.
Yes.
The vines can't
Good.
use the
It's not the
tree
tree's
if
fault.
you chop the tree down.
Mm-hmm.
That's only gonna take like 10
That's
minutes.
more like it.
Ooh.
What does it look like when Asuriel eviscerates this vine blight?
Just see it like popping out of the tree, and when there's one vine that kind of pops out again to go for them, she just takes the blade and cleaves right through it, because this is a scythe. It's meant for reaping shit. And
You have
It
reaped
just-
the tree.
there's just a sort of flash burn on the entire vine, and it's just like falls to the
severed
ground
by holy
completely.
fire. Yeah, they start to just go limp, spread out on the ground, and that flames start to slowly crackle and burn over it. Not enough to create like a forest fire or anything crazy like that, but with Acrio's persistent flame and the fire from your blade, it starts to burn away this cursed vine-covered tree. And everything kind of starts to go still yet again.
This isn't a friendly forest.
Don't give
Just
that away.
Catching onto that.
Feel free.
Which way do we go now?
I'm gonna take a guess and say probably down the scary path that the tree was defending.
It would make sense.
So, Amrita, with your kind of general knowledge, your wanderer background, you get the sense and can kind of see, if you peek down further, through the trees this direction is that pit that you had to jump over and go around.
So the other way.
Alright, I guess the other way then. Let Amrita go first.
Amrita, as you're taking the lead, everybody kind of taking up positions again. I'm going to roll one more thing.
Mysterious D6.
Moving through the foliage, you kind of hear this similar wrestling to what you'd heard when that cat leapt out and crossed Cillian's path, but doesn't appear. However, as you're moving through the trees, you suddenly see a light that doesn't look like the flames of these torches, these markers. It's a little more ominous. It's a little more red than it should be. And you can start to see through the trunks of the trees what looks like kind of this ambient glowing mouth of a cave. And that's where we're going to drop the curtain on this week's session.
Ooh, Nelly.